Talking's by the fire, but the room's ice cold. All of us a kid, guess it came pre-sold. Found her lips on her best friend, ribbons came untied. Unwrapped betrayal, under that you tied. Mistletoe hanging, but the vibe ain't sweet. So I'm tangled up where I used to keep my seed. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead. Tree lights flicker, but my mind's on rewind. Every I love you now feels weaponized. Eggnog spike, but it ain't numb in the sting. Her best friend took my crown, now I'm the fool king. Sleigh bells ringing, but they sound like alarms. Frosty outside, inside it's a storm. No chestnuts roasting, just my patience shot. Love ain't a present, it's a house of cards. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead.
Cork, set the scene. Gold glass, big dreams. Little hood, still pristine. Laugh lines where lipstick sheen. Secrets fizz when we sit down. High heels, low-key crown. Spilled tea, still hold it down. Toast up, level up now. Champagne secrets, sip, save it, spill it. Grown and sexy, talk that talk, but we are when we feel it. Champagne and power, glow in the midnight hour. Little hood, whole lot of class, we gon' cry and laugh louder.
Slow pour, let it rise. Real talk, no disguise. Bad days, but we still thrive. Soft heart, hard-earned pride. I'm enough. Big bag, big piece too. Pray first, then make move. I'm blessed. Self-love in every view. Hit play, it's a new you. I'm chosen.
Champagne secret, sip, save it, spill it. Grown and sexy, talk that talk, but we are when we feel it. I'm healed. Champagne and power, glow in the midnight hour. Little hood, whole lot of class, we gon' cry and laugh louder. Picking down, new ride. Deep breath, slow sound, champagne. Secrets out now, I'm ready. Picking down, new ride. Perfecto, now champagne. Secrets out now, I'm ready.
Hey girl,
Hey girl,
what you doing?
nothing much.
Get dressed.
For why?
Because we're going to the city. I need a little sip, savor, and spiel.
Let's toast.
What you got going on tonight?
Can't call it. Owning the night. What you getting into?
Empris down in the city tonight. I'm feeling like champagne.
Let's toast.
The content you are about to indulge in may contain high levels of truth, sarcasm, and emotional damage. Viewer discretion is advised, but honestly, you clicked, so here we are.
Side effects of watching may include sudden clarity about your life choices, uncontrollable laughter at inappropriate moments, mild to severe eye rolling at ignorant comments in the chat, increased confidence, boldness, and I said what I said energy, or getting read like a hardcover novel with highlighted notes. Your bad take being turned into tonight's entertainment. A free personality evaluation you didn't ask for, but clearly needed, and temporary embarrassment followed by permanent self-reflection, optional, but recommended. Do not consume if you are allergic to accountability, growth, hearing the truth without sugarcoating. If symptoms of being triggered persist, log off, hydrate, and try again tomorrow. By continuing to watch, you agree that your feelings may or may not be spared, and that's between you and your Wi-Fi.
Management will not be issuing apologies, refunds, or emotional support for bruised ego.
We do not argue here. We educate, escalate, and occasionally decorate the situation with a little razzle-dazzle, respectfully.
Stay classy, stay sassy, and remember, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Either way, the glass stay full and the tea stay hot. You either handle it or get handled. Can you handle it? Let's toast.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! These motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! These motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
They say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the truth. Hands in the air for the ones who carry the proof. Yeah. Grandma's hands, cocoa brown, turning collars in the crown. Kitchen stories, hush, hush, pain, turn that sugar out of blank. Gold hoops knock on bedroom wall. Kente print on Sunday shawl. Say my name in every prayer. Thick like smoking southern air. Blacker the berry, bigger the crown. We rise up slow, but we don't bow down. From black hair, black roots in the ground, to the base of our hearts, that heavy sound. Blacker the berry, sing it out loud. Every shade, every scar, so proud. If they ever try to write us out, we incarnate with the anthem now. Control on bathroom sink. Freedom notes and colored ink. Brother's face sharp as a blade. Dreams tucked tight in a second-hand J's. Dark skin glow in the midday heat. Whole world built on these tired feet. History books skip whole scenes. We kept recording our genes. The blacker the berry, bigger the crown. We rise up slow, but we don't bow down. From black hair, black roots in the ground, to the base of our hearts, that heavy sound. Blacker the berry, sing it out loud. Every shade, every scar, so proud. If they ever try to ride us out, we incarnate with the anthem now. Say it for the kids with the wide nose, wide dreams. Say it for the lips, for the hips, for the deep routine. For the looks, for the twist, for the press, for the free. Carrot King, that's a dynasty. Make it race with the sun done kissed. The embrace with the drum insist. With the book, not the single page. With the fire, not just the flame. Hey, blacker the berry, bigger the crown. We rise up slow, but we don't bow down. From black hair, black roots in the ground, to the base of our hearts, that heavy sound. Blacker the berry, sing it out loud. Every shade, every star, so proud. They ever try to ride us out. We incarnate with the anthem now. Anthem now. Anthem now. Hey, yeah.
I know you see what the things say. Sweet things are coming your way. I bet somebody better reach up and grab it. Reach up and grab it. Ain't your day been sour enough? It's time for us to receive something sweet. Champagne Gang, Fizz Fam, confidants, and visitors to the Champagne City. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm the Empris, and you are joining me for grown discussion and bubbly banter. Baby, over here we give classy with a twist, huh? A little clink with chaos with a side of charm. So if you're ready to sip, savor, and spill, please grab a glass of your favorite bubbly. I don't care if it's sparkling water. Matter of fact, some of y'all probably need some sparkling water. Y'all done probably had a little bit too much libation already by 6 p.m. Make sure you're nice and comfy. Fellas, your PJs. Ladies, your jammy jams. Kick your feet up in the chat. Say hi to a few people, because we're nice and friendly over here. And let's get ready to get into it. But y'all already know, first things first, raise that glass high. It's time for our positivity and our affirmations. You ready? So today we're going to talk about walk in it. Tonight, stop standing outside of the life you've been asking for. Stop talking about the next level like it's somewhere far away. Stop speaking about your future like you're waiting for permission to meet it. Because at some point, you have to walk in it. Walk in it. That confidence, walk in it. That peace you've been fighting for, walk in it. That version of yourself you've been dreaming about becoming, walk in it. You don't become her or him one day. You become her or him one decision at a time. One boundary, one choice, one moment of believing you're worthy before the evidence shows up. Walk in it. Not when everything is perfect. Now. Not when everybody understands. Now. Not when every fear disappears. Now. Because courage was never the absence of fear. It was moving away. Walk in it. Walk in your value. Walk in your growth. Walk in your standards. Walk in the certainty that you didn't come this far to keep introducing yourself to small versions of who you used to be. Those days are over. Now say it with me. I walk in confidence because I have earned it. I walk in peace because I protect it. I walk in purpose because I trust it. And I walk in my future because I no longer fear it. There it is. And tonight, I stop standing at the door of my next chapter, and baby, I finally walk in it. And if you feel that deep down on the inside, baby, lift that glass high in the air. Let's toast. Y'all already know what's coming next, don't you? You know what's coming next, don't you? And if you came in my beautiful city with your heart set on hell and your intention set on negativity because you saw my thumbnail, baby, I'm here to let you know over here in the Champagne City, baby, we don't do no trolls. Troll busters on patrol.
Yeah. Whole squad on patrol. Where they patrol. Patrol buses on patrol. Hey, hey, hey. Patrol buses on patrol. Patrol. Clamp down, shut them out, tow that troll. Click, clap, log them out, fold that troll. Whole chair, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll buses on patrol, patrol. Yeah, big boots, stomp them out, roll that troll. Roll it. Cap lock, drag them out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls. You type to a little mole that troll. Live in my crib, little bowl cut troll. Grease on your keys, little old stain troll. Bridge so hot, screen cold from the troll. You a bridge bottom, did water troll. Wi-Fi weak, one bar in your soul. Profile pic, just an egg on a pole. Whole existence on whole set troll. Saying fake pages, same lame troll. Catfish filter, can't say that troll. Talk big game, but you fold like a scroll. We just laugh, hit mute on the troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Clamp down, shut them out, told that troll. Click, click, clack, log them off, fold that troll. Whole chat, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Big boots, stomp them out, roll that troll. Cap lock, drag them out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls. You a damn rock, mouse grown troll. Lil' dust, might all brand troll. Fry or hair, little egg roll troll. Keyboard chrome, snap pad troll. You a bad seat, no roll troll. Big talk, zero gold troll. DM tough in the street, so cold. See us live in your spine, made a jello troll. You a trash bag, half tone troll. We a whole squad, but troll that's scroll. On the fly swatter, you the mad ass troll. She the boot heel, flatten that troll. Go home, go home, troll. Whole room, yeah, log off, troll. Log off, home, go, home, troll. Whole room, yeah, grab, troll. Troll busters is on patrol, troll patrol. Slam down, shut them out, told that troll. Click, clack, log them off, fold that troll. Whole chat, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Yo. Big boots, stomp them out, roll that troll. Cap lock, drag them out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help!
Here we go again.
Champagne on my tongue, silk on my skin undone. You lean in, say my name like a secret, like a sin. Coconut glow on your collarbone, salt on your lips, I taste home. You say right.
What's going on, Champagne Gang? Come on in. Y'all, I got so much stuff up on this screen. Y'all didn't know how to move stuff around. That's why it took a minute. Y'all know I'm in OBS. It's a little bit more technical than StreamYard. Welcome in. Come on in. Come on in. Grab your things, rings, wings, tings, and anything else, because we have a lot to discuss. We want to get into day 2. Y'all, first of all, let me just say how much fun I had with y'all on the panel yesterday or the other day, going back through memory lane, stuff we grew up with, going back on where we went wrong. I still want to know, and we're going to do a part 2. So make sure y'all like and subscribe so you can join us on the part 2 of where we went wrong. We went back through the music and the games, then to now. Arcades, connectivity, phones and phone chat lines, and bikes and water fountains and water hoses, and you know, when you could be outside for more than 15 minutes without looking over your shoulder. Thank you, because we had absolute fun, and we got to do it again. Tonight, we want to get back into the Karmelo Anthony case. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all messed up this case. You did. I know. Generally, when I start talking like this, I generally make people mad. I know. It's okay. Scoot up. Welcome to the Champagne City. Y'all messed up this case. And y'all messed up the case because you made it a black versus white thing. And when I say y'all, I mean everybody. The cream team, the mocha team, the caramel macchiato, everybody messed. Because the minute you saw two different boys of different shades, y'all automatically made it racial instead of keeping the main thing, which is whether or not a weapon could be used in self-defense when the other kid didn't have a weapon. Let me explain something to you so I can make it very clear. The reason I have justice for Melo on this screen is not because I feel like Melo should walk. No, I don't. He made a mistake, and even mistakes have to be punished. But did that baby deserve 35 years? Absolutely not. He got railroaded by his defense team, by the prosecution, and by the judge. Said what I said, allegedly. Argue with your mama, not me. He should have never been facing 35 years. Never. But do you know what the problem is? The problem is his defense attorney, and I'm going to keep saying that, never removed intent. I tell y'all, we've been saying this for almost a year now. I've been telling y'all, and now y'all see a prime example of it. In order for there to be a conviction, even a charge, you have to have two things. You have to have an act that is criminal, which means someone is gone, and they're gone in a nefarious way, and there's no other way to describe them being gone except they didn't do it themselves, and it wasn't an accident. On top of that, you also have to have a motive that is also criminal. If you have an act that is criminal, and you have a motive that is criminal, you are guaranteed a conviction. When that see, y'all got to take y'all feelings out of this. This is the problem. Y'all keep trying to fight them with feelings instead of facts. The moment his attorney did not remove intent, they made an entire case about intent. They convicted him on intent. That's why Austin was never a factor, because intent was never removed. So everybody was able to run on it. And because everybody didn't keep it about the facts, and you made it a black versus white thing, you automatically vilified Karmelo and made him guilty. Because now he looks like a monster. Because at the end of the day, it should have all been about removing intent. Get it? This is why we lose. We don't know how to fight. We don't know how to fight. We'll never be able to fight them, number one, until we learn how to unify within ourselves. And when I'm talking about them, I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about people who come against you purposely to hold you down, like the treasure troll of a father that I told you I'm subject to make a hashtag justice for Austin sticker as well, simply because of who his father was. They want to talk about what can be reproduced from a parent. Well, you see it. You see it. But let's get into it. I want to get into day 2, and I'm trying to see how should I do this. I want to start first with JD Vance because he just recently came out, and there's supposedly a deal with Iran. So I want to hear what he has to say about this. I haven't watched it or listened to it, so we're going to watch it and listen to it together. Drop in the comments and let me know what you think, okay?
All right. Good morning, everybody. Nothing to talk about. Slow news day here in Washington, D.C., so let me just say a couple of things off the bat. First of all, I think the president's peace plan in Iran is already bearing real fruits for the American people. Last night, 12.5 million barrels of oil went through the Strait of Hormuz. That is a high since the beginning of the conflict. Oil prices are down nearly at their level from the pre-war conflict. Gas prices dropped below $4 a gallon today for the first time since the conflict. And importantly, they're going to keep falling further given how low oil prices are. On the military side,
Press pause. Hey, Champagne Gang, can you drop in the chat and let me know how much gas prices are in your area? Yeah, I'm just trying to fact check something. I keep telling y'all, believe nothing they say. Fact check everything. The world is a stage. I tell y'all, include me. Include me. Everything I say, go fact check it. So that we can all be right. Look, we drinkers and thinkers over here, even if it's sparkling water. Fact check it. What are the prices of gas in your area right now?
Iranians, for the second night in a row, did not shoot at any ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So far, they are honoring their end of the commitment. And on the blockade, CENTCOM has allowed north of a dozen ships to go through our naval blockade, and so we're also honoring our end of the early part of the agreement. On the military side, a couple of things that are still true and will be true whether the Iranians comply with the rest of the deal or not. Number one, their nuclear program has been completely destroyed. Their capacity for enrichment...
Hey, press pause. On another note, I keep telling y'all, they are prepping JD to become number one. Yeah, I just feel it, as the old folk used to say, in my shondo. They wasn't throwing around the 25th Amendment for nothing. This man sounds like he has status. Agent Orange sounds like he reading from a Dr. Seuss book every time he opens his mouth. I just want y'all to pay attention from this point forward, right? From today, June 22nd forward. I keep telling y'all, now this is my personal feeling. I do not think Trump is going to make it out of this year. I don't. And I don't even necessarily think it's going to be natural. But they'll probably make you think it is. And they'll probably make you think it's the other party that did it. But in my opinion, I think it's all going to be a play to put him as number one. It's my opinion. Now, look, Empris allegedly, y'all see it going across the top. This is just my opinion. I really don't feel like Trump is going to make it out this year. If he does, God is protecting him for another reason. Let me know what y'all think.
Which they were using to develop enrichment and develop a potential nuclear weapon, those facilities are still destroyed. Their conventional military is still destroyed. Their capacity to threaten their neighbors is still largely gone. And now we see whether they are willing to comply with the next step of the president's peace plan. As you all know, the part of the peace plan, the part of this MOU that I think have been most misrepresented by certain parts of the media is the idea that the Iranians get all these benefits. You will hear things about $300 billion or $24 billion or this or that number of money or amount of money. And the simple fact is that the only way the Iranians get any of those resources, not a single penny, by the way, from the United States of America under any circumstances, but the only way that they would ever get any benefit of the bargain is if they comply fully and change their behavior. And so you really have a win-win situation for the United States of America. If the Iranians don't change their behavior, their military and their nuclear program is still destroyed. If they do change their behavior, then they are going to have a transformative relationship with the Middle East, and the Middle East will have a transformative relationship with the people of Iran. That's a win for the American people and for the President of the United States, regardless of which option the Iranians ultimately choose. We obviously want them to choose the right option. The interesting thing about their system, and I think it's important for the American people to appreciate this point in particular, is that there are real divisions within their country about how exactly to proceed. And what we've seen over the last couple of months is that the pragmatists within the Iranian system, the people who really do want to transform their relationship with the Middle East and with the world, those people are winning the argument. The United States wants those people to win the argument. The United States wants to have a better relationship, but in order for that to happen, the Iranians have to perform. And if they don't perform, as we've said before, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. So what I'd ask all of you is just to report honestly that the United States isn't giving up a cent of money.
It is like absolutely insane and diabolical to me that a country with no money can make demands. Do you know why the United States ain't putting no money into it? Because they can't. See, some of y'all new to the Champagne City. Baby, welcome in. Grab a glass and scoot up so we can talk. Y'all are late to the party. Y'all done missed the whole show. I told the people a few weeks ago where all the United States money has gone to. I even showed it on diagram, but look, my chat will tell you #boards. Yeah, I pulled out the boards to detail and illustrate it for you. All you gotta do is scroll back in the channel and binge watch the videos that say, what is it? You sank my battleship, Strait of Hormuz edition. Go watch all of them. I broke down Astana, the World Bank, and the fact that the United States is broke. Especially go look at the ones that say kings and pawns. That's about the United States and China. Because really, we're all in one big chess game right now. And the two top players on the board is the United States and China. The problem with this game that we're playing is we don't know who the other pieces on the board are. We know China has Russia. What did we say? I think Russia is the knight. I think Russia is the knight on China's side. I don't know who the knight would be on our side. We got to figure out the pieces before the game is over. And there's a checkmate that cost us all. Because America has no money. That's why they can't give to this. Do you know why? Because we're in debt to China. Do you know why? Let me help you. So, you know that big display that Trump just did on the White House lawn that cost millions and millions of dollars? Yeah, we don't have that money. No, we don't. We don't. So what we do is we create a debt, and then we put that debt on like this worldwide debt bulletin board. And other countries are able to look at this worldwide. It's almost like the angel tree. That's what it is. We put our debt on a worldwide angel tree. And other countries are able to come up to the tree and pick our debt. Guess who keeps picking our debt? Don't worry, I'll wait. Maybe the very people where just about everything here is made from. China. So we are so in debt to China. That little meeting that y'all saw Trump and Xi have, you thought that was about what? The war? No, baby, that was about the debt, allegedly. Because, little do they know, if China calls in the debt, we might as well all learn Chinese. This what we don't get. All of y'all running around with all y'all money, y'all Birkin bags, and all of that. If China calls in their debt, the U.S. dollar drops below everything. You get it? And their money becomes number one. So that means you become immediately poor. We drop below a third world country. If China, why do y'all think China sits so quiet? When a person knows what they can do to you, they ain't got no reason to beat on their chest and all that, because I know what cards I hold. All I got to do is sit back and let the pieces line up properly. But the problem is, y'all, we don't know what the pieces are. Who are the pieces that we need to look out for? This is one big chess game. And unless we learn who all the pieces are in time and figure out a play to stop the checkmate, baby, everybody gonna be checkmated. Because everybody's a part of the game. Get it? But let's continue.
And even the economic benefits, the sanctions relief and so forth that comes along with this bargain only happens if the Iranians perform. So with that, I want to say...
No, China is the king. China's not the queen. China is the king. China ain't moving right now. China got pieces that move forward. That's why I said on the board, China is number. Didn't y'all see the way Russia bowed down? Russia was getting ready to declare World War III. Russia came out and said, we feel like what the United States has done to Iran is a war crime because they had no reason to touch them, the U.S. and Israel. They was like, me and China finna jump in it. China said, whoa, hold up, Kimosabi. Whoa, Tonto, whoa. We'll mediate. You know why China said we'll mediate? Because they hold the cards. You ain't gonna mess up the game that I'm playing right now. All my pieces are not in place. The problem is we don't know what all the pieces are that China is trying to get in place. Outside of, if you pay attention, a lot of their connections are lining up around the United States, but we're not paying attention to that either. Just like a lot of people didn't know that, Jamaica shook hands with China. That's why a lot of Jamaican food now says Jamaican/Chinese. Yeah. See, we got to look at the bigger picture.
Thanks to all of you. It's good to be with you this morning, and I'll kick it over to questions. Let's start right over here to the right.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I wanted to ask a follow-up on something you just mentioned. You talked about the possibility of the current Iranian leadership fundamentally changing their behavior. Do you think that the current Iranian leadership recognizes the leverage that the U.S. holds over itself economically and militarily enough to actually go forth with fundamentally changing their behavior over the long term and going
This is dumb. See, this is what happened when you let that idiotic weasel, quote unquote, change the name of the Department of Justice to the Department of War. That little trigger happy weasel, he's ready to go to war. He ready to blow up something. He probably in President, why did I call that man that? He probably in Agent Orange ear right now. Hey, push the button. Push the button. It's so red and pretty. Push it. Push it. Nobody's gonna stop you. Push the button. Push it. Like one big Rush Hour movie. Y'all don't feel like we gotta be in some kind of weird, twisted Wayne's brother rendition of Scary Movie or something? It's gotta be, clearly. This makes no sense. Because Iran does have backup, dum diddy, China and Russia. And as much as we talk, we do not want to go to war with China. We have nothing for China. Don't let them gas you up like that. It's 350 million, trillion, gazillions, million, whatever the numbers go up to the highest number of them. We cannot compete where we do not compare. I don't care how much you have. They can reproduce faster than we can. They have more factories. They have more people to man the factories. There's nothing we can do with China, allegedly. Now, I'll go with your mama, not me. Hell.
So I certainly think they recognize the leverage that the United States has over them. We've seen that in a
Thank
number
you, Progressive, because I saw Ninja Assassin, and I ain't taking on not one of them. Hey, I'm like old boy in Superfly. You got it, kinfolk. I don't want no parts. Matter of fact, when they show up, I'm going to be eating some shrimp fried rice with some orange chicken. Don't play with me. I know when I'm out my league. What am I going to do with a ninja? And a monk? What? You can't bring a knife to a gunfight? They don't even use them. Now what you going to do? I saw them come out the shadows in Ninja Assassin. Don't play with me. Look, I done watched too many martial arts. Who? Why you messing with them people? What you gonna do with them? When them monks who train their doggone bodies to take a drill and not be penetrated, what are you gonna do with that? What? They sleep on beds of nails. Our kids can barely sleep on the floor without complaining. In a sleeping bag. What you gonna do with them people? Just always picking on somebody. America calls everybody else bullies, but America is really the bullies. And we wonder why we produce so many bullies. This is crazy to me. Y'all are really having a press conference about going in and taking over somebody else's country because they ain't doing right. Have you seen your own country? Y'all ain't gonna be satisfied till one day y'all wake up and everybody is aimed at us. Y'all ain't gonna be satisfied.
Our conversations, we've seen that just in their behavior over the last couple of days. They certainly recognize that the United States has great leverage. Will that ultimately lead to a change in behavior? I don't know. I've seen skeptics of the deal. People say the Iranians will never change their behavior. Well, maybe that's true. And if so, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. But isn't it worth trying? Isn't it worth seeing whether this incredibly weakened position that the President of the United States has put the Iranians under, whether that motivates them to change their behavior?
So, question, real quick. Our president, Agent Orange, hold on. We can't keep talking about him without having him on this doggone screen. Hold on a minute. We ain't gonna keep doing that. Yeah, we ain't gonna keep doing that. Cause this the reason we dealing with this anyway. So we gotta make sure he trying to orangeify everything. Let me. There you go. Now we can continue.
Not just vis-a-vis the West, but vis-a-vis the Middle East. And one of the interesting things about this is, the technical details of this we can, of course, get into. There are going to be any number of opinions about the negotiation, about where it's ultimately going to go. But I tend to think that you should trust the people who know the Iranians the best and who have the most to lose. What are the Gulf Arab states saying about this deal? What are they saying about this deal?
You know what? I ain't looked in these doggone comments, and y'all are doing too. Give me y'all doggone phones. Give me your phones. I'm going to call Bruce Leroy. He catch bullies with his teeth. Really? Zach said America can only call Wu-Tang. They Shaolin. I can't with y'all. I cannot. Monks, ninjas, etc. Y'all got to stop. Y'all really have to be stopped.
Compared to the JCPOA in 2015, this is the Obama nuclear deal. Well, back then, they hated that deal. They felt like it empowered the Iranians to be bad actors across the region, and of course, that's exactly what happened. They were right about that. What are they saying about the president's peace deal? They're saying this is an amazingly transformative thing for the region because either way, we and the broader region win. Iran is weakened, their nuclear program destroyed, their economy in desperate straits, and if they change their behavior, big things are going to happen for Iran and for the world. If they don't, no skin off our backs. Either way, we win, and that's the way the president has set up this deal and this negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice
Yep.
President. Just a quick housekeeping question, which I think you answered in your topper, but did the 60-day period officially begin yesterday?
I would say the 60-day period officially started today. It was signed late, and it may have even been signed technically, because of the time shift. I think it's signed technically today, Iran time. So, yes, the deal started yesterday. We're going to start the 60-day clock today. Go ahead.
Can you help us understand President Trump's shift on his stance for Iran's ballistic missile program? Initially, it was a key objective to dismantle it. Yesterday, he said it would only be fair if they had some, if the countries around Iran.
Hey, real quick, because I really want to know, after they're done with this, are they going to stop the Israel-Palestinian war? Because y'all do know that's still going on, right? Even though they distracting you with the Strait of Hormuz, Israel is still in other conflicts. So we going to jump in that too? And interrupt stuff over there too? What at this point, what are we trying to accomplish? Fix the entire world while we remain toe up from the flow up on the inside? You can't even fix your own streets, but you want to police the entire world? Y'all don't hold these people accountable. That's the problem.
Also had some. So when and why did that change? And will the final agreement have any restrictions on these missiles?
So we destroyed a substantial number of their ballistic missiles and their ballistic missile launchers themselves. It's not just the bullets, but it's the actual gun. And that's what we were extremely effective at in destroying during the last 3 months of the campaign. All the president said yesterday is that, of course, countries don't give up the right of self-defense. Israel doesn't give up the right of self-defense if Hezbollah fires rockets or drones at Israel. The Iranians don't give up the right of self-defense in their country, but we do expect that as part of the final deal, they are not going to be able to build the kind of missiles that can broadly threaten the entire world. And that's what the President of the United States said yesterday.
Hey, Niecy, but you got to think about it, though. If I'm trying to take your spot, I can't agree with everything that you're saying because that makes me just like you. In order for me to take your spot, I got to be disagreeable. Because that makes somebody say he's not like him and he's more wantable. It's all kings and pawns. It's all a game. That's it. The world is filled with pimps now, and most of them are working at the big White House in D.C. allegedly. Look, I think the Epstein files that's out, not out, hidden but not hidden is kind of letting us know that.
And look, I mean, it's very simple. You can't tell a country, whether Israel or Iran, they're not allowed to have any self-defense. That's not what the president has asked. That's not what the president has requested. But as part of the final deal, what we want to see is Iran not funding regional instability, funding regional terrorism, and of course trying to rebuild their nuclear weapons program. That's the main thing. The nuclear weapons program is destroyed. It is gone. If the Iranians decided tomorrow to build a nuclear weapon, they simply don't have the capacity in order to do that. What we're trying to ensure is they don't rebuild that capacity, not just a year from now, 2 years from now, but many, many years from now, so that our children never have to worry about a state sponsor of terrorism having a nuclear weapon.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You were just saying that you're hoping this deal would prevent Iran in the future from getting a nuclear weapon, but from...
Y'all know what I'm going to do for y'all? And it's going to require the board. So y'all know if I'm bringing out the board, we going deep. I am going to go out and create some visuals, and we're going to do a show so that you can completely understand this conflict between Iran and the United States. Because when you completely understand the conflict, you know, what we're doing now is exactly what started this conflict. This is literally deja vu. Don't believe me? Go look it up yourself. Exactly what's going on right now is exactly what started the conflict between the United States and Iran. We're going to do a whole show on it so y'all can understand. Y'all can't keep letting these people lie to y'all. And the crazy part is they have us arguing with each other over what they doing in the middle of a lie. Do it make sense when I say it out loud? This isn't about a nuclear program. This is about being able to control who sits at the head. That's it. This is about being able to put in leadership who you want in leadership. And if you think it's going to stop with Iran, you are crazy. You're crazy. This is an attempt to take over the world one country at a time. Didn't Trump tell you, vote for me and get me in? This the last election you'll have to vote in. Come on, y'all don't see the play? I've been trying to warn y'all. But see, when I was trying to warn y'all before, I only had about 300 subscribers. I've been trying to warn y'all since this man started running again. Trump is the wild card. Pay attention to what he's doing, because he's moving on his own agenda. He's not moving on theirs. That's why I keep telling y'all this ain't got nothing to do with Republican or Democratic. That's why we Meocrats. This is about Trumpism and Trump's agenda. He wants to be king. Long live the king. Scar. That's gonna be the next graphic. Y'all know I'm a producer. I be saying stuff and then I see a whole visual in my head. My next visual gonna be insane. Trump is Scar. That's it. He wanna be king. He wanna be king. And what he's doing is destroying everything on his way out just in case he can't. He's trying to leave this country broke. None of y'all have stopped and asked why in the hell every single thing this man touches has to be $1.6 to $1.8 billion. Why? $1 million. Why? Why? Especially when it's money you don't have. Especially that. People in apartment buildings now and condos and stuff like that, you know, they being charged for opening their door. Y'all haven't noticed extra charges out of nowhere? Y'all haven't noticed mysterious tickets coming up from 15 years ago that you forgot about, and clearly they did too, because as many times as you moved, gotten pulled over, been arrested and everything else, it never showed up. But mysteriously, here come a ticket. The government is broke. And it's trying to use you to catch up. I'm going to play this for you some while I pull some. See, y'all be thinking, I keep telling y'all got to know how to fight. When you start fighting with facts instead of feelings, you'll back people up off of you because people can't argue with facts. You can discuss a fact with me, but you can't argue a fact. You can argue with me on feelings all day long because feelings are subjective. So we gonna watch this and I'm gonna go pull something for you.
Out there of the MOU, I'm curious, how does the MOU reflect that in the future Iran will not in fact get a nuclear weapon? What's stopping them from down the road, to your point, rebuilding and restarting from where we were pre the war?
Well, number one, they would have to get a lot of money in order to rebuild the nuclear program. You're talking about billions and billions of nuclear infrastructure that the United States destroyed. In order for them to rebuild that program, they would have to get a lot of money. And we have them in an economic chokehold right now that we're not going to release until they fundamentally change their behavior. What would that look like? That would mean a real inspections regime. That would mean a real enforcement regime. As the MOU contemplates, that would mean the destruction of their enriched stockpile. All of these things are the sorts of steps you're going to take if you're serious about ending your nuclear weapons program. And that, again, is why I go back to this fundamental trade that's built into the deal. They need money to do anything. Their economy is in absolute dire straits. But in order for them to get any integration into the world economy, they're going to have to show us and verify for us that they are changing their behavior. And that's why the deal is set up in the way that it is. Go ahead.
President Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks with Iran go sideways. Are you worried that he's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking, but as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world. Go ahead.
A couple of just timing questions.
All right, press pause for a second. I want to show you something. Keep your eyes on the screen. Is everyone tuned in? Hope you have your glasses filled to the rim. Let me show you some proof of what I be saying. So you know, I always like to give y'all receipts. Do y'all see this? Look closely. This is the U.S. debt clock. I'm just gonna pause here for a second while I get something to drink. I'm gonna turn some music up just for a second because I just want you to look through it and take it in for a second, okay?
Champagne on my tongue, silk on my skin undone. You lean in, say my name like a secret, like a sin. Coconut glow on your collarbone, salt on your lips, I taste home. You say right, let the night decide. I slide in the passenger side. Yeah. Champagne and silk on my lips, dripping slow from every kiss.
Okay, I'm back. Do you see this? Do you? So I really want somebody to argue with me that we're not broke. I really want someone to argue with me that we can afford all of this foolishness that Trump is out here doing. Please argue with me. Please. Because it's hard to argue a fact. Please. Please tell me we could afford his quote-unquote birthday celebration. Please tell me we could. Please tell me. Please tell me we could afford the failed filtration system on the reflection pool that turned into nothing but algae that now has to be recleaned. Please tell me. Please. Do you see what I see? I'm trying to see if I can find the section. Hold on, because there's a lot of numbers on here. Let me see something. Hold on. There's something in specific I am looking for. You might be able to find it before I can. There on here somewhere is a debt per person. There's a lot of numbers flying. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Do you see the third one from the top? National debt, debt per citizen, and debt per taxpayer. So they are creating so much debt that the reason why we are going through what we're going through now, United States, is because they've assessed in order for them to clear their debt that each citizen needs to pay $114,257. So they got to figure out how to get $114,000 per citizen to go towards the national debt. Let's continue. That's just per citizen. Now, per taxpayer. So those individuals who pay taxes every year. Yeah, you see, baby, you quadrupled. This is why you owe so much money at the end of the year. This is really why. This is why they take half of your check in taxes. You even have them take extra tax out your check so you won't have to pay taxes. And by the end of the year, when you get ready to file your taxes, you find out you still owe thousands of dollars. Do you know why? Do you see that debt per taxpayer number? Please argue with me about facts. We don't have any money. This is why I watched a video on TikTok today about a young woman who showed a video of her mom dancing around and said, the same woman in this video right here, looking happy and jovial and jumping around, she said, left me this. It flips to the other screen, and it is a, I'm sorry, I love you, Mom, XOXO. So then I go to the comments, and I'm seeing all of these posts of screenshots being shared, of final notes from people saying, I couldn't do it anymore. Because your government, the one that y'all arguing and fighting over crayon colors in a box, and I keep telling y'all it's crazy, the two colors we arguing over is actually the absence of color. By definition. It's idiotic when you say it out. All the other colors we could be playing with in the box of crayons, but no. We can't see this happening because we so busy at each other's throat. And we keep letting them do this to us. This to us. Hey, do you have $356,000 in your pocket? Oh, okay. Have you seen $356,000 yet in your lifetime? In your pocket. Yeah, most Americans haven't. This is why you're struggling. This is why we're struggling. This is why people are giving up. And I got to read a comment section. Breaking my heart. Picture after picture. This is the one my mom left me. This is the one my friend left me. This is the one my mom and dad left me. This is the one this one left. Like, what? But then when you look at the U.S. debt clock and look at how much your life is worth to them right now, this is why you working like a dog. But let's continue. Hold on. Let me get this out your way.
How soon, as the MOU lays out, can Iran start selling any of its oil that has sort of been impounded, right, with the blockade? And two, can you sort of explain the Lebanon component to the MOU and how that front works and any enforceability of it?
Yeah, so the Lebanon component, this is about regional peace, right? This is about regional peace. And what that means is we expect Hezbollah is not going to be firing rockets and firing drones at the Israelis. And we also expect that the Israelis are not going to be going wild in Lebanon, right? Both sides have to honor their end of the deal. Now, as you guys know, sometimes these ceasefires are a little messy. The President of the United States said this a couple of weeks ago, that a ceasefire in that region of the world just means they're shooting a little bit less at each other than they were before. What you've seen is radical progress in Lebanon, less shooting, less firing, but you're still going to have these little flare-ups from time to time, and that's just the sort of thing that we're going to have to manage through the diplomatic process. Secretary Rubio's been sort of the person on point. It's actually worked out extraordinarily well because we do have substantially less shooting, but it's going to be something we have to manage. And eventually what we want to see is the Lebanese government, the elected representatives of the people of Lebanon, who are able to police southern Lebanon so that Hezbollah is not taking over the country, the Israelis are not threatened, and then consequently the Israelis are not attacking southern Lebanon or Beirut either. That's the plan there. You asked about the Iranian oil. Look, one of the interesting things that you've seen is that the Iranians have been completely unable to sell oil, not because of sanctions, but because of the blockade. Fundamentally, the thing that we have done here, the original, what we give, what they give, is that we said we're going to lift the blockade, we're going to allow you to sell some of your oil, and they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. We see that process starting to work already. It's going to take a little time before it picks up fully, but that's where we are today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The MOU, just on the Strait, the MOU guarantees these 60 days of toll-free passage, but after that it has, of course, led to a regional dialogue with Oman and Iran deciding the future governance of the Strait. A senior U.S. official told us yesterday that they expect Iran to push aggressively on this, but also that Gulf states won't allow any kind of tolls. How strenuously will the U.S. fight to keep tolls out of the strait and keep any fees away from the future strait and commercial traffic? And are you going to leave it to the Gulf states to kind of fight this battle?
Well, first of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course, in the 60 days of the MOU. And when you say it leaves it open, it doesn't really leave it open, except in the sense that, of course, the final negotiation is going to set the terms of what comes
Press
after.
damn pause. Press damn pause. See, I keep telling y'all, I'm trying to be more demure and cutesy, but these stories really, ooh. Please explain to me, y'all, how exactly do you feel like the strait should be free of tolls? House never. We gotta pay $50,000 just to go from Chicago to Indiana. Please, man. See how I keep telling y'all they keep lying to y'all and telling y'all the truth? See, some of y'all thought I was just making it up when I told y'all how it worked with the World Bank. I tried to tell y'all half of the stuff that they ban us from doing, they are funding in these other countries. Funding it. This is sickening. What do you mean they can't charge tolls, but you can to your own country? Please tell me how it's not beneficial for them, but it's beneficial for us. Oh, I know. I told you how. Hold on. Where'd it go? Here you go. I told you how. Do you know why they can say that it's not beneficial for them, but it is for us? Because of this. That debt. That's why. Because they got to try to get $114,257 out of each citizen by way of toll, tax, or something. They got to figure out how to get $356,241 from each taxpayer to knock down that 39, whatever them the hell combinations is right there. You see it's going up. I know you see it's going up, right? Oh, okay. This is why we gotta pay tolls. This is why. This why you gotta go to the bank and get 4 rolls of quarters just to go down south. This is why. Welcome to the Champagne City. I try to keep y'all knowledgeable. I just wanted to be able to show you the proof of everything that I showed y'all in them screens, telling y'all it's all a game and they playing with y'all. We the pawns. Told you it's king versus pawns. It's 2 kings on the board. The United States, not Agent Orange, but the United States and China. Those are the 2 kings on the board. The pawns are us. We got to figure out who the major pieces are. I already told y'all, I think Russia on China's side, I think Russia is the knight. Because when China said bow down to Russia, Russia did it. So they're not moving on their own. We got to figure out who the other pieces are. But this is why you going broke. And this is why I keep telling y'all, we don't ascribe to Republicans or Democrats. We Meocrats. That's why y'all gotta go to the Champagne Factory and get your Meocrat gear. We refuse to support a party that does not include me. None of them care about you. It's all about them. I guarantee you, Trump is trying to figure out a way while he's in office to create his own party, so that he can look in the Constitution and say that nothing bars him from creating his own party and running again. I guarantee you he's trying to come up with something. Guaranteed. Do we need to start calling each other 356,000? Do we? Because I ain't got it. I don't know what to tell him. I ain't got it. You're not gonna work me like a dog for a debt that y'all keep creating. So every time y'all applaud all this stuff that Trump is doing, because everything is in the billions. I want you to see those numbers. Do you see how they're going up? Yeah, he's creating this every time he does dumb male bovine feces. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's bullshit. Your back, feet hurting, ankles swelling, need to go see a doctor but can't afford insurance. Now you see why. USDebtClock.org. This is from the internet, baby. Go look it up yourself. I didn't create this. I promise you can put it in Google right now and go look at it and examine it yourself to see what your leaders are doing to you behind your back. ChatGPT told me about this. I didn't even know it existed. But you need to be careful what you do with your money. Please. They throwing money around like scattered ass just all over. Money they don't even have to play with, mind you. And using your life as collateral. And we're okay with this? Okay. Let's get back to JD.
Right? You said, I think that it's the Omanis and the Iranians, but it's actually the MOU contemplates that the Omanis, the Iranians, and the Gulf Coast Coalition together will figure out a proper security framework for the Straits in the future. And what I mean by that is that we don't ever want this to happen again. Right? That's not about tolling. That's about ensuring that the Straits are never used as a choke point for the global economy ever again. It's frankly not what the Iranians want. It's not what the Omanis want. It's not what the GCC wants either. So what we're going to do, of course, working with our allies in the region, is to ensure that that is reflected in the final deal. And if that's not reflected in the final deal, there's not going to be a final deal. And that is, I keep coming back to this fundamental structural point of this negotiation, which is that we have all the cards. If the Iranians want the benefits of the bargain, they have to give us the things that are necessary to get those benefits. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
We'll do both. Okay. Both of you guys. There's one in the white and then one in orange, I think.
What about the pink?
I'm sorry? Okay. Maybe I'm colorblind. It looks more orange to me. I don't want to have a debate about that. Orange, pinkish. You go first, and then in front of you can go second.
President Weaver. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. How does the points about granting some immediate waivers on sanctions, especially from the Treasury Department, how does that square with the Iran nuclear?
Hey, who taught JD to fake smile? Who taught him that? That smile was fake as hell. Y'all know that doggone smile from JD was fake. You go first, and you go. What I gotta say is I'm very impressed because I've never really listened to JD Vance speak before. I'm very impressed at his, linguistic availability. Considering who his boss is, I'm like really, really, really impressed. Because, if this would have been Trump, it would have been, I don't know. Look. They're either going to sign it or they're done. They're done. That's it. They're going to be no more. No questions. They're if they don't do it, they're dumb. They're dumb. Why wouldn't they want to sign it? It's the best thing out there. Why wouldn't they? Y'all know. That would have been the entirety of the speech. That's it. That's it. That's it. He's very well spoken. It is something, Progressive, it is so funny you say that. It's something about JD Vance's eyes. That's why I keep saying I feel like him and Erica is a play. I argue with your mama, not me. I feel like all of this is a play for Erica and JD. I wouldn't be surprised if some stuff happened. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a Trump fan. Y'all know this. I am not. But I have been watching everything very closely. Y'all know me. I'm extremely impartial. You ever want somebody to mediate a situation? Oh, she knows how to be extremely impartial. I've been watching, and the way I've been watching them moving with Trump, the minute I heard the 25th Amendment being introduced from his own party, I said, uh-oh. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. I don't think this is going to end well, mate. I don't think it is. I don't. And the more I keep seeing him look like he's in decline and all this, I'm like, yeah. Then I was paying attention to JD. JD had actually been extremely quiet. And I'm like, interesting. Okay. Now he's out doing presidential things like, you know, making a deal with Iran. Not Trump, but JD. Not the press. See, I keep telling, the golden chapeau is on the screen. Why would they send JD? Why? I don't know. I told y'all what I think. I told y'all what I think. Look, something wicked this way comes. I don't like none of it. It don't feel right. And it's something about his eyes. Something about Erica's eyes. That squint is something, and they both do it. Have y'all? Okay, don't listen to me. Look, I told you, it's hard to argue with facts. Don't listen to me. Watch how he squints his eyes. Watch how she squints her eye. It's something about their eyes that just makes something in me cringe. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I told y'all, it might be something much darker at play here than we even know. Because y'all not going to convince me that a president just walking around pooping on himself. Y'all, and we're okay with this. Y'all not gonna convince me. And for those of y'all who supposed to be diehard Trump fans, why aren't y'all concerned? Look, I got some MAGA in the Champagne City. They ain't gotta hide. I don't have a problem with you liking Trump. That is your business. I don't like none of them. To tell you the truth, I don't like none of them. I don't have a problem with MAGA. I have a problem with maggots, and you know the difference. I have a problem with none of them. But if you're so diehard Trump, why you not concerned? Why? Why ain't nobody raising hell about what's going on with your president in the White House? And why all of a sudden your president can't hold his bows? Y'all not concerned about that? But we love Trump, do you? Because why you not concerned? That he sleep majority of the time that he's in front of a camera. You don't think that's concerning? Or should you be concerned? And I'm not talking about just because he's an older man. Look, said what I said. Now, look, I don't come back like, I don't work for the White House. Ain't nowhere near the White House. Ain't nowhere near nothing government. Don't want to be in nothing government. I don't like none of them. I just have something called a spirit of discernment. And I have something called I pay attention. I pay attention to what people are not saying when they talk. I am an individual who takes out the time to learn people. So when people start talking, I match what they say to the person I've learned. And if it doesn't add up, then something is wrong. And I'm telling you, something is wrong. But don't take my word for it.
Clear Agreement Review Act. And are you planning on briefing Congress on this portion?
Yeah, so I talked to James Braid, our head of OLA. We do plan to brief Congress very soon. I believe that they got the formal copy of the signed document this morning, and if not, they're going to get it at some point later today. We are planning a briefing. I believe right now the House is out of session, the Senate is in session, though maybe I've reversed that. But we're going to ensure that the team briefs Congress and, of course, answers their questions. We've been doing that informally, of course, talking to a number of people in Congress just over the last week. We'll keep on doing that, and we'll have a formal briefing. I won't say exactly when that will be because it depends a little bit about session schedule. Your point about the sanctions is I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is really the choke point on Iranian oil was never the sanctions. We didn't see that as a major concession to the Iranians. Frankly, the Iranians didn't see that as a concession to them because what prevented them from selling oil was not the sanctions. They were selling plenty of oil without any discount because the sanctions were just fundamentally ineffective at that point. What the sanctions did do is move the Iranian financial system to sort of the shadow banking system. So by lifting the blockade, that's the significant thing that has changed. And by lifting the sanctions, we're actually going to be able to see a little bit where their financial system actually sends money and receives money. That's a real benefit to the American people. And that's really the only thing that has changed by the change in sanctions. Oh, sorry, I forgot that part of the question. No, we don't think so. We actually have an opinion from OLC we feel quite confident about that, Congress does, there are certain things that require congressional approval. There are certain things that don't require congressional approval. We feel quite confident that we can temporarily lift those sanctions without going to Congress and seeking their approval on that.
Apparently, there's been reports coming out of Israel that Iran is already funneling oil money to Hezbollah even before this particular MOU was signed. And how exactly is the U.S. looking at this? If we're talking about behavior on part of Iran, I mean, October 7th happened, and if there's concern that perhaps Hezbollah could end up doing some sort of attack on that scale, then, how exactly are we talking about the reaction to the United States if we're talking about perhaps a humongous scale attack that actually could happen? Are we waiting for that type of attack? I mean, what exactly is a scale here?
Sorry, you said what exactly is a scale?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what type of attack would it take to actually get a reaction from the United States to say, okay, now we're actually going to start dropping bombs on Iran for having bad behavior?
Well, we don't want a scale of any attack. Any attack, whatever its scale, is unacceptable under this agreement. Now, you asked the question saying that oil money was flowing to Hezbollah before the MOU was signed, and it's one of the reasons why we are actually engaged in this process is to...
See? I keep telling y'all don't be paying attention. That woman asked him a question and he did not answer the question. This is how they do y'all. He's smooth operator. Yeah, they setting him up. I'm trying to look. All right. Okay. I'm trying to tell y'all don't see how he smooth past that question. That man just said, well, there's no way that we bomb. What are we doing then? Please tell me. What are we doing? Hey, y'all, please go to the Champagne Factory and get your champagne gear. Baby, it's champagne gear, it's wellness gear, it's skincare gear. It's so much for the fellas, the girlies, everything. Go check it out. Please. What y'all think? Politicians are masters of misdirection. Actually, he didn't answer the question. Right. Just slip. No, what did you say here? Just move past it. Y'all, they be talking and answering nothing at all. What are you going to do for us tomorrow? The same thing that was done in 1380 and then was repeated in 1692. And my dad, when he was in office in 1912, also. And then tomorrow we're having chicken. The hell? That's how they do us. Clearly. And majority of the people like, yeah, chicken does sound good tomorrow. And I'm looking like, what the heck? Where are we? Where? I want them to put the CERN in reverse. Because I feel like whatever happened when the CERN was shut on. So they need to unshut it on. Everything they did, they need to... At this point, forget it. We are not in... You sank my battleship. We are clearly in Jumanji. Clearly. Our new game set board is going to be a Jumanji set. We clearly in Jumanji waiting to see what's going to come out the board next. Clearly. Let's go.
Ensure that no money is flowing to Hezbollah. So it's interesting where people...
I'm sorry, visitors. You guys have to forgive us. Like, you know, we have a fireside chat. So this is like us kicking back and just, you know, talking. Just talking. Come on in the chat and talk with us. We cool. Ain't nobody gonna hurt you. Ain't nobody gonna talk about you. Ain't nobody gonna disrespect you as long as you're not disrespectful. Because we're family. Everybody in this chat. Okay? Let's go.
Will say that the MOU is bad because the MOU produces consequences that were actually happening well before the MOU was signed. That's not a reflection on the MOU. That's a reflection of why we need the MOU to ensure that we have the regional peace and stability that we need. Now, what I would say to, you know, some of the critics of the deal that I've heard that will say, well, Iran's going to get all this benefit. I'll repeat what I've said, and I'm probably going to have to repeat it a number of times, is what is the benefit that the Iranians get that they didn't have before? And the answer is nothing. They don't get anything unless they change their behavior. If they change their behavior...
If 2 plus 2 is 4, and 5 plus 5 is 10, what the hell is this? Nah, y'all, y'all have to make it make sense. You went over there and bombed the hell out of these people. Even accidentally hitting that fool-ass Korean boy Kim Jong-un's spot. Yeah, I don't know how you accidentally hit that fool's spot. That fool went and sat on his beach with his child and just had an air show just to taunt with missiles. Just ignorant. Yeah, I told y'all, war happens when a bunch of adolescent adults don't know how to come to the table and negotiate. You know the stuff that they tell you to do as children? Get in there and work it out. Sit in that room till you figure it out. No. See, they don't know how to do that because power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. That's what you're dealing with here. If I bomb the hell out of you, just for you to continue as you were before I bombed the hell out of you, so you didn't use U.S. troops, U.S. missiles, U.S. troops, U.S. missiles, U.S. money over in this situation only for things to go back to normal? Is it me? Am I not high enough for this story? Is what I'm saying. What is... Y'all gonna have to help me out. Cause I am so pissed right. Like, don't piss me. I am so pissed right now. Let me explain something to y'all. My son is in the Air Force. Many of y'all know last year, probably about this time, my son deployed to Israel. My heart was, ooh, y'all listen. I was a wreck. You telling me none of that had... If you have a child and your child destroys your house and you take every electronic they have, and y'all are going back and forth on the terms of you giving these damn electronics back. Only because your child has put 3,000 locks on the door that's electrocuted and guarded by 2 cane corsos and 3 pit bulls. You cannot get through. You turn around and say, you know what? I'm going to make a treaty with you. And the treaty is you get to go back to doing exactly what you were doing before you created this blockade that I couldn't get through. And y'all telling me that makes sense to y'all? Again, I say, all the money that was spent. You see this? All the funding. Because he wanted to play the big bad wolf. And you trying to tell me that he couldn't huff and puff and blow it down? So he negotiated them back to where they were before he started bombing? And we're okay with this. Yeah, it's only, 5 to 12 of us in here. Let's get back to JD. I am spilt, poured out, flued out, flabbergasted, befuddled, in befuddlement, bewilderment. What other words can you come up with? For with Mr. Drumpf has done. Let's go though.
That is a thing to celebrate. That's going to transform the Middle East for a generation. If they don't change their behavior, they don't get the benefit of the bargain. And I think, I got to be honest, I think fundamentally this idea that, and it's a misrepresentation of the MOU, this idea that the Iranians get all these benefits before the deal is actually consummated. The idea that they get benefits before they change their behavior is fundamentally a talking point that is issued by people who want the conflict to continue indefinitely, despite the fact that that's not good for the American people and it's not good for the region. Way in the back. All the way back in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President. Right here, you mean? Are you red?
We'll do.
Pause. I just want to help you read between the lines that quote unquote people that he's talking about is Agent Orange, Mr. Drumpf, who wants it to continue until there is a surrender. Now, he can't come out and say that, because it would give away the play. This is all a play. But, yeah, him right there, that's who he's talking about.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. I'm wearing bright red.
So many people are wearing red. You can go first. Kara, right?
Thank you, Kara.
Okay, and then next after that.
Okay, great. Could you highlight the major differences between this deal and President Obama's deal in 2015 and why the administration believes that this deal is superior? And second, Mr. Vice President, President Trump has been vocal lately about his disapproval for Bibi Netanyahu's attacks on Lebanon. Has the administration spoken to Bibi Netanyahu directly about the president's concerns recently, and what is the feedback from Israel?
Yeah, so we speak to Bibi or speak to somebody in the Israeli government, just as we speak to the Gulf Coast Coalition, our regional partners, pretty much every day, at least at some high level of our government. Look, the president's been very clear. He does not withdraw from Israel. No one could withdraw from another country the right of self-defense. Israel has the right to defend itself. But fundamentally, the Israelis, just like everybody else, have to respect this peace process that is fundamentally good for them and good for the entire region. What the president has grown frustrated sometimes is that we seem to be right on the cusp of a major breakthrough in the agreement, and then all of a sudden there's a major explosion that goes off in a civilian population center in Beirut, and a lot of people who have nothing to do with Hezbollah lose their lives. That's not acceptable. That's the sort of thing that we've asked for closer coordination so that we ensure ensure it doesn't happen. And our message to the Israelis, just as our message to everybody else, is fundamentally, we want this peace process to be good for you. We do not want Hezbollah attacking Israel, but in order to ensure that that happens, we have got to actually build the kind of regional framework that can cut off the money to Hezbollah, cut off Iranian support for Hezbollah, and also ensure that Lebanon's
But these Zionists can bomb the hell out of whoever they want to without contestation. Because I ain't even going to keep calling them Israel. Because I already told y'all I really don't think these people are Israelites. I think we may find out that these people are really imposters. All I'm saying is, if you really look at the history of these people and how they ended up right here, they were sent here by Germans. Now, them Germans said that they were Israeli. Now, from what I'm saying, Israelites aren't supposed to be bloodthirsty. They're supposed to be children of God, right? So why is it everything that they do requires blood? Nobody has thought about this? That maybe these people over here are imposters, allegedly? Because please tell me what in anything they're doing is biblical. In anything. Especially like taking a land, because didn't the Torah say that they weren't supposed to, claim a land till Jesus returned? I heard a rabbi say that, allegedly. How do y'all know? Y'all doing all this fighting, all this dirt. How y'all know who these people really are? Maybe the bigger question is, or the bigger problem is, they actually do know who these people really are. And I still don't believe they're Israeli. That's me. That's my opinion. That's not factual. But I'm peeping how they're moving, and I really don't think they're Israeli. When you hear these people bowing to pray at any time to anybody, to anything, except the U.S. But now the U.S. has heightened its security against Israel the Zionists, because now the Zionists have an attitude with Trump, Agent Orange, because of how he's handling the Iran war. So now the very people that you started all of this for, now they got an attitude with you. So now everybody at the table just about got an attitude with you. And here comes JD in to save the day so that we don't continue to be at war. Y'all still don't think it's a play? Okay.
Territorial sovereignty is respected by all parties. And the difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this, and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a...
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, Father, forgive me. Help us. We have leadership right now that has the entire world angry at us, and you're going to trust the opinion of right now, right? And I'm thinking about tomorrow doing a panel to discuss From, because From is stressing me out. But right now on From, they making a plan to get the people out, right? And I'm not going to give specifics. But in making a plan, you got to know who you can trust with the plan. So with us watching, we're like, oh my God, why are you telling people the plan? Like, y'all should be keeping the plan to yourself. Help me understand. Progressive said Trump's toilet and he leave the door open, eating SpaghettiOs out the can. Y'all gotta stop. Help, y'all. I really need y'all assistance with all of this because I'm stressed. And I'm stressed. It's like, are people sitting at home with those helmets on like in Batman with Jim Carrey when he played the Riddler? Are they sitting with these brain mechanisms on? Or is it something coming through the phone that has them brainwashed? Like, hello? Do we not? Do I need to go get a champagne glass and a fork and click it 3 times to wake y'all up? Goodness.
Sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really self, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program, we're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal. No, sorry. I said the other, all the way in the back. Thank you.
Margaret with the Daily Wire. The president has said that if Iran doesn't behave themselves, we're going to resume military action. So what is the red line for what Iran can do before they cross that red line and we do resume military action?
Well, it's going to be a holistic approach where we look at their behavior. Are they funding terrorism? Are they leading to attacks of other people? Are they trying to get centrifuges to redevelop their nuclear weapons program? There are all these questions that we're going to ask about whether they've actually changed their behavior. Do they allow the inspectors in as they have promised that they would do, or do they refuse to allow those inspectors in? A whole host of things.
Bro. Y'all, did they just turn Iran into low-income housing? Talking about if they allow the inspectors in. What the hell? So they got government inspectors. Y'all, since when? We need to look into this. Y'all, we may need some of this. We may need to cover in the membership when we do our deep dives. Because now I need to know about the government inspectors who go into countries to see if there's nuclear weapons. Who are these people? Who signs up to be a government inspector? I watched 300. They killed the messenger. Please explain to me how the government inspection goes. Is it every 6 months? Is it quarterly? So they got Iran on house arrest. Iran got a probation officer. They can't sneeze. Matter of fact, they might as well put Iran on tether. And it's so broad, just, well, if they fund terrorism or you mean big stuff. So nothing or anything you feel like it. Because right now you're just pulling stuff out your ass. You would already know 1, 2, 3, 4. You know the way you called out the numbers with the difference between the two plans. Yeah, you plan for that question. You prep for that one. You prep for that one like Olivia Pope prepped Mr. President when he was running for president. Yeah, they prepped you for that one. They didn't prep you for the last one. Well, in case they fund terrorism. I mean, yeah, duh. What else? They don't know. They lie to you and tell you the truth all at the same time. Y'all, do me a favor. Please make sure you look on your screen where it says live. If the button is gray, that means you're not watching me in real time. Touch the button on your phone, fast forward on your TV or on your device until it turns red, and then you'll be watching me in real time. Okay? Thanks for joining me. Let's go.
We're going to see we're working towards a very successful resolution of this process. But again, it takes two to tango. And what the president's just saying is that we maintain economic, diplomatic, and military leverage that nobody else in the world has. So if the Iranians want to change, great. We're going to help them. If they don't change, we still got all the cards. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. In the blue jacket. Yep.
This one right here. This one right here, Mr. Vice President.
That's a Navy jacket. Should we have a debate about the difference between blue and Navy? Not that guy, because you give a speech whenever you ask a question. I'm going to give her an opportunity. Hold on.
Y'all, that is the fakest smile on this side of heaven. It almost looks like a ventriloquist dummy. Allegedly. Y'all telling me it don't when he throw his head back and smile? Okay, you keep watching. And you tell me he don't look like a ventriloquist dummy. Them beady eyes. You can't even see his eyes. The squint. Told y'all about the squint.
Guys, you're speaking over the person who's asking the question.
There's been a lot of frustrations with Americans, particularly about the gas prices. You touted the fact that they're coming down. The president has gone on Truth Social touting this. But when should they expect to see gas reach that $3 threshold?
Well, I'm not an economist, and I think even the economists would get this wrong, but the fact that you've seen gas come down about 65 cents a gallon on the national average, and the fact that you see oil prices that are basically close to where they were at the very beginning of the conflict, I think you're going to see a substantial reduction in gas prices. I'm not going to predict the exact price. If I was able to do that, I might be in a different business than politics, but we do think you're going to see significant relief at the pump on top of what we've already seen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You keep saying that Iran will only reap economic rewards if they comply and change their behavior. But under this deal, they are being allowed now to sell their oil freely. Again, how is that not a financial benefit? And they're being allowed to do that without making any new concrete nuclear commitments. So can you explain how is that not lopsided?
Well, first of all, they've made very concrete nuclear commitments. They have committed to the destruction of the highly enriched stockpile that they have in their possession. But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict. The blockade is off. We put that in after the conflict started. The straits are now open. That's not a new benefit to the Iranians. They were selling oil for many, many years, well before we ever put the blockade. We opposed that blockade. They stopped selling oil, and now we've lifted the blockade in order to promote the free flow of energy across the world. Go ahead.
So, let me translate for you. I caused this problem to make your lives hell, and then I want you to applaud me and pat me on the back for fixing the problem I caused. Yeah. We stopped the strait in order to create a crisis that we could save you from. Do it make sense when I say it out loud? There is a term. I watched it several times when I used to watch Criminal Minds with Gorin in them. There was a term for people who had to create crisis and be the hero. Was it like the savior or the hero complex or something like that? Yeah. That's exactly what they did, because they returned everything to just how it was before they destroyed everything. You created crisis so your name could be on it as the hero. And y'all don't understand why I opt out yet?
official described having secured some of these quote-unquote gentlemen's agreements with Iran on
Sure.
certain aspects of the negotiation. So when it comes to highly enriched uranium, can you walk us through what's been secured even in these kind of gentlemen's agreements on how exactly they're going to get rid of the stockpile? Are there agreements on low-grade enrichment? How long is the moratorium on enriching uranium for Iran? And are any of these gentlemen's agreements written down anywhere?
So some of them are written down, but fundamentally, whether they're written down or spoken, this is why we structured the deal that we did, because we don't trust words, we trust action, and we trust conduct. And so we're going to reward conduct, and we're not going to reward any words, whether they're written on a sheet of paper or not. There's a lot of discussion, the MOU, the gentlemen's agreements, the final deal.
Hey, y'all, real quick. So according to y'all Vice President of these United States of America, he just said we don't trust words, we trust action. So from now on, I don't want you to trust a doggone-it thing that Agent Orange says. His vice president said it, not me. We don't trust words, we trust actions. So when he said, yeah, the deal is done, almost done, I mean, maybe think it is, like maybe tomorrow or so, it'll be, just give it a day or so. It'll be done, promise, deal. It's going to be the best thing ever happened for both countries. I'm trying to tell you. All you got to do is follow me. The sky is blue today. It's pretty. The butterflies are out. Why not do a deal with Iran? Don't you think it's beautiful? It's going to be one big, beautiful thing. All they got to do is put down all their weapons and let us put someone in there that's going to do it right, because they clearly don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm.
Words don't matter, ladies and gentlemen. We're about verification. And so what we're going to do is to say, if they do the things that they have promised to do, they have promised not to enrich. They have promised that they would allow inspectors in to destroy that highly enriched stockpile, and then of course it's not usable anymore, you take it somewhere else. They promised a number of things, and that's why the deal contemplates a number of benefits if they do those things. But it doesn't do anything if they don't actually meet those promises.
Go
ahead.
Just to follow up on that, sir.
Go ahead.
If they don't follow through with their commitment, will the U.S. go back to imposing sanctions and the blockade, or does Iran get to keep some of the concessions that it has already secured?
Well, first of all, the sanctions are still on, with the exception of the oil sanctions, which I talked about were no longer effective. The purpose of the oil sanctions is to drive down how much Iran is charging for a price for a barrel of oil. Those sanctions had stopped being effective. The blockade is what's effective. And again, that's the thing that has changed in accordance with them opening the Strait of Hormuz. No sanctions will come off unless they perform the benefit of the bargain, and every sanction will come back on. Like hypothetically. Let's say 2 years down the road, they've done what we need to see on the nuclear program, and we release the sanctions as the deal contemplates. Then they decide they're going to start rebuilding the nuclear program. Then, of course, those sanctions are going to come back on. And that's why it's really kind of like a dial. As they dial up their good behavior, we can dial up the economic relief. If they dial down their good behavior, we can turn it off. It's the good thing about having the leverage, and it's a good thing about being the United States of America, where we just fundamentally have so much influence in the world financial system. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Leader Thune said it's unrealistic to get the Save America Act passed by attaching it to FISA, which is what the president's looking for. Do you believe this is possible?
Well, why don't we try? Why don't we try and at least force people to vote against it? One of the things that sometimes frustrates me about the legislative process is that people will go into it saying, this isn't possible, therefore we're not even going to try. Well, let's actually see. Let's try it. And if it's not possible, then let the people put their name on it. This is also good for the American people. How many American senators know that the American people love the Save America Act because they believe in voter ID? But how many of those same senators don't want to...
Some of this sounds really Obama-ish, right? One of the things that I noticed about a lot of the interviews with Obama, now whether you agree with him, like him or not, was a lot of his speech was almost like, Rome in Gladiators. Maximus, give it back to the people. Rome belongs to the people. If you promise to give it back to the people. That was a lot of Obama's speech. That he wanted the people in control. A lot of what he's saying right now, JD, is give it back to the people. Do you know why he's saying that? Because it's completely opposite of I want to be king. Y'all are not watching what's happening right before y'all eyes. I'm trying to show it to y'all. I promise you. I promise you. He is literally nice nasty opposing Scar. Yep. This is about to be Simba challenging Scar. Watch what I tell you. He's going against everything that Trump believes in. On the low. By everything he's saying. Give it back to the people. Trump done said several times. I'm sorry. We call him by his... Trump has said many times on camera, well, the people don't matter to me. Their feelings don't matter. It's not about them. Y'all haven't heard him say it? Or y'all just skipped over that? Because all hail King Trump. Huh? Okay. He's opposing him on purpose in front of y'all because he's talking about the people. So if anything happens and it becomes a Trump versus JD, which one do you think the people are going to choose? The one who is saying all hail me, or the one who is saying give the government back to the people? Which one? I keep telling you, it's all one big coliseum. That's it. It's just a matter of what game we playing in the coliseum. Told y'all, I feel like we done slipped into Jumanji.
Vote for it because they know that the radical elements within their own party would punish them for it. Let people go on the record and actually answer to the American people, which is why I think we should do exactly as the president said.
I sped it up, Niecy. That's me. I sped it up so we could get through it. I can't even put that one on him. Yeah, I can't. I could have let you run with it because I feel like, this is a bunch of male bovine feces, just to cover, just get him used to, talking in front of, the public in a presidential fashion. Because I haven't heard one time him really say the president. Have you? Or did I just miss it? I could have. I will admit when I'm wrong. I'll be the first. See, that's one of the things you learn in the city, accountability. If he mentioned, Trump, honor to Trump, this is Trump, all of that, salute. I just don't remember hearing him give any accolades to Trump at all. Not one time. Y'all don't see the split divide happening? Keep your eye on it. I'm gonna have to do a Trump Watch 2026 now. Do I need to do a doggone hashtag justice for Trump or save Trump? Trump in danger for MAGA to open their eyes and say, oh, no, something ain't right. Yeah, hell, for all y'all know, they up there lobotomizing Trump, and that's the reason he can't hold his doggone bowels and got to be in a pamper. Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all ain't in that White House. All we wanted to do was paint the White House black. Hell, y'all destroying it, tearing it up, destroying the gas, put the grass, putting gasoline on it. Come on now, have some respect for the house.
Rob. Rob.
Thank you very much. On Monday, we were told the MOU will be published within 48 hours. The President then said after Friday. You, I think, then said by Friday. And then it ended up being read out on a briefing call yesterday. We were told the MOU had been signed electronically on Sunday. There was an Axios report that it hadn't been. There's going to be a signing ceremony on Friday. And then it's signed at Versailles last night. Is what's going on behind the scenes as chaotic as your public messaging?
Well, I don't think our public messaging has been chaotic. I think dealing with a fractured Iranian system where communication isn't great is just sometimes something that we don't fully appreciate or we don't fully understand. What really happened here is that we did sign the MOU on Sunday.
Let me translate. So the Iranians didn't know how to sign their own name to the contract, so it's their fault that the dates kept switching as to what was signed and not signed because, they didn't know how to sign the paper because they couldn't read the language and we couldn't read theirs, so we really didn't know whether or not they signed it. It's their fault. It wasn't ours. Y'all got the translation? Okay.
Locked into the terms of the deal. What the Iranians came to us and said is, we'd like not to release the text until Friday. I didn't really understand that. I wanted to get the text out immediately, but in order to be accommodating to them, we said, sure, okay, we'll wait until Friday. And then what happened over Monday, Tuesday, the president was in G7, maybe foreign leaders were talking to the Iranians and encouraging them to do that. We were definitely saying to them, we understand your desire not to have the text out until Friday, but we live in a democratic system. The American people want to see the text of this deal. We would certainly like to get it out as soon as possible. And so they came up with having their president sign it, our president sign it, and then just releasing the text as a signed document immediately at that point. I do wonder, Rob, this is pure conjecture, I'm just guessing at this. I wonder if part of it is that they wanted to have a Persian translation, a Farsi translation that they felt good about. And then, of course, once they translate it into Farsi, our State Department has to confirm that the Farsi translation matches the meaning of the English. I think that is part of what was going on here. But the text is out there now. We said that we would be transparent about it. But the reason why it went back and forth a little bit about when exactly the text would be released is just we were trying to show good faith to the Iranians who, for reasons I have no idea, cared a lot about how the text itself was rolled out. Blue tie.
Okay. Did that translation help? We lied. Let's continue. I'm just trying to help translate for y'all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. As you know, because you were involved in this process, the MOU allows for Iran to sell its oil right away, which means...
Those who know, I ain't even got to say nothing else.
Iran can take in on a monthly basis tens of millions of dollars. Iran's economy was in tatters. How is this not essentially giving a lifeline to Iran economically? And what's to prevent Iran from using all of that money, all of those millions of dollars, to prop up its proxies in the region?
Well, the number one thing is that we actually see where the money moves now because of what we've done with the financial sanctions. We actually know where the money is going to move. And so we have great confidence that we're going to be able to see if they try to fund terrorist organizations, we're going to be able to see that. But you said that millions of dollars is a lifeline. Right now, the Iranian nation is a nation of 94 million people. Their economy is in a free fall. They have sky-high inflation. And fundamentally, about $1 trillion of damage to their industrial base was caused over the last 3 months. The idea that selling a few $1 million worth of barrels of, or a few $1 million worth of oil is going to fundamentally transform the Iranian economy, that's just not true. We thought that it would be good in order to lift the blockade and open the Straits of Hormuz to allow the free flow of energy. We felt that it was reasonable that if we're going to allow everybody else to sell their energy during this period of negotiation, we would allow everyone to sell their energy. That's all we're doing. We can slap everything right back on if the Iranians don't make the deal that we expect. Yeah. Either one. Yeah. Guys, how about both of you? Go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, so President Trump said we'll finish one, talking about Iran, and he said then Cuba is next. Is Cuba next? And also on Colombia, Mr. Vice President, he has mentioned Colombia 3 times this week. Why is it so important, the election day in Colombia for President Trump?
You guys have to ask Marco about Cuba. That's not... Look, our view... Go ahead in a second, but let me just actually answer this guy's question. Fundamentally in Cuba, it is a system that hasn't worked. They can't make any money. Their economy is frankly probably in worse shape than the Iranian economy. It's 90 miles from our shore, so every time that there's a crisis, you end up having desperate refugees or desperate, people who can't feed their families trying to.
What I tell y'all? What I say? I told y'all I haven't watched this. I be playing this so that we can all have fresh reactions, like we kick back together. Y'all see this interface? Y'all, I hope y'all dropping some hearts, some subscribes, cause I ain't even seen the little bell go off on the screen. Hold on a second. And my alerts are on. I haven't even seen the little bell go off on the screen letting me know somebody done subscribe so I can see the alert go off. Y'all see this gorgeous interface? Niecy said my keyboard playing tricks on me. Y'all, I'm sick of this.
Blood in our country. We want the people of Cuba to be happy and successful. We're actually talking to the the Cuban government right now about how they could change their ways to change that.
Why are you talking to the Cuban government about how they can change their ways? I told y'all this is not going to end. If y'all thought this was going to be over with Iran, y'all are crazy. This man is looking at world domination. He is trying to quote unquote metaphorically get rich or die trying. That's it. He's trying to put his name on as much stuff as he can before he gets out of here, or destroy it. He one of those people, if I can't have it, I'll destroy it. Why you messing with them people in Cuba? Look, the same way I'm not messing with no Shaolin monk. I'm not fighting no ninja assassin. They come out the dark. I need to go to sleep. I'm also not playing with no cartel. I watched The Godfather. I did. Godfather, Carlito's Way, Donnie Brasco. I'm sorry, Godfather 1, 2, and 3. Don't play with her. Goodfellas. Come on, y'all, help me out. Scarface. How could I forget? Child. Zach said they still say Africa broke too. Africa's got so much money. That's why they stay over there. Y'all see they struck all that oil. They done been real silent since that happened too. Champagne excellence. Si, senor. Gracias.
See what they do, and obviously if they do one thing, we're going to do something. If they make smart decisions, we're going to have a much better relationship with that island. Go ahead.
Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President, thank you so much. I know that you are still not sure if you are going to run for president in 2028, but if you do not, is there anyone in particular that you would want to see run?
What's your name?
Stephen Kapuska, sir.
I want Stephen Kapuska to run for president in 2028. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice President Vance. I've got two questions. Could you describe the status of your Switzerland trip? Are you definitely still going? What are your plans? And also, if we could drill down on frozen funds. There's been a lot of focus on oil sanctions, but on frozen funds, what's your understanding of how much money is frozen? How much of that is in the U.S.? And a senior administration official briefed some of us reporters earlier this week that there might be small antes, is what he said, like small releases of money to build trust with the Iranians early on. Could you describe that whole situation?
So on the frozen funds, the amount of money, I honestly don't know. I've heard numbers north of $100 billion. I've actually heard numbers north of $200 billion. Most of it is not in United States accounts. Most of it's either in the Gulf or in Europe or somewhere else. But I don't know the exact amount of money. It's a lot. It's one of the reasons why we've had such a successful chokehold on the Iranian economy, though by not even close to the main reason. We're not releasing a single dollar of that money until the Iranians perform. And there are a number of ways they could perform. For example, Let's say they actually take meaningful steps, and this could happen very quickly, to destroy that stockpile of enriched material, then we're going to have a conversation about it. But they have to perform. I've seen some reports, I don't know where this came from, that the Qataris had released billions of dollars in Iranian assets. That's just not true. It would be impossible for the Qataris to do that without our buy-in, and certainly without us seeing it. So a lot of this reporting is just fundamentally wrong. They don't get $1 of unfrozen assets. Their money, not our money, but they don't get $1 of unfrozen assets until they actually perform under the deal. You asked about Switzerland. Our plan is
How you just gonna G somebody else's bank account? Like, America do stuff to other countries that they lock you up for. Do y'all not get this? Y'all ain't hearing this. Bruh, you ought to be able to go in court and say, but ain't this the very thing that America doing to Iran? There has got to be a case law or a case log somewhere where somebody got off on a crime because they learned it from watching the governments go at each other. Have to be. Because how do you lock up your own people for stuff and then turn around and do it to another country? It's the exact same thing. Exact thing. Child.
Go to Switzerland. I don't know exactly when. The way that we're setting up this technical negotiation is that obviously, you're going to have the political leadership involved. Excuse me. We're going to have people on the ground actually driving the technical talks, the nuclear talks. How do you destroy this highly enriched uranium? All that stuff that you really just have to get into the nitty gritty on. So, I plan to go to Switzerland. Exactly when, we think these technical negotiations are going to start sometime this weekend. That's still the plan, but that could change because it's not an easy country, Iran, to get out of. And so we're trying to figure out exactly when that's going to happen. I suspect this weekend, but I'm not sure.
So you're not going tomorrow to Switzerland?
I may. It just depends on exactly when the Iranians can get there. We're trying to figure that out as we speak. But again, I suspect it will happen this weekend. We're going to find out exactly whenever the coming days. Go ahead, babe.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Just two questions for you. To follow up on an earlier question, Secretary Rubio said in March that the goal of this war was to, quote, to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles. You just said earlier that the military program is destroyed. U.S. intelligence estimates that Iran still retains roughly 70% of its pre-war ballistic and cruise missile stockpile. So when did the administration decide to abandon that part of the original mission? And then just second as well, moving forward, are you leading the U.S. team moving forward in terms of the negotiations? How involved will you be?
Yeah, so I'm certainly planning to lead the U.S. negotiating team. But on the first question, you talked about an intelligence report that was anonymously leaked to a reporter that was not with...
Interesting. Y'all hear that? I keep trying to show y'all the pieces being put on the board. Y'all still think I'm making it up? He ain't mentioned Trump. How you leading the negotiating team? You ain't the president. Nobody, MAGA, hello, hold on. MAGA, come to the front. Just scoot up for a second, baby. You safe. It's okay. Just scoot up. Ain't nobody gonna bite. I promise you. I promise you nobody gonna bite. But scoot up. Where's Trump? Why is he talking about he's leading the U.S. negotiating team? This the Olympics? Baby, they talking about like this debate club or something. Help me understand. Y'all not worried about this? Concerned? Things that make you say, You know what? I'm so cold at what I do. You can take it back to MAGA and pretend like you came up with it. But somebody better go check. Because this don't look good. It don't look good. Argue with your mama, not me. This don't look good. This man is talking like they are talking to the President of the United States of America while he's standing with a full White House behind him. And nobody has a problem with this. Okay, let's continue. I keep wanting to stop, but the more this goes on, it's like literally the more concerned I get. And y'all know I don't like either party, but you know I don't like games being played with people either. Look, it's enough games on the board. Look, we sunk our battleship. You sunk my battleship. We done went from that to Kings versus Pawns. Now we done jumped into Jumanji. Look, it is enough board games at the block party. Okay, we don't need any more games. Okay, cause it's not fun. Y'all not even bringing the fun games to the party. You holding us hostage with some demonic twister or something. I'm not sure. This is the most twisted version of spin the bottle I have ever played in my life. Don't bring another game off to the board, please. Let us figure out how to solve these first. Okay?
Context, and that frankly is not accurate. What has changed about the Iranian ballistics missile program is it matters much less the number of missiles they have, the number of bullets. What matters much more is the number of launchers they have, and importantly, the teams on the ground that have the capacity to launch those missiles. Their ability to launch missiles has been substantially degraded. Is it zero? No, but it's substantially degraded, and in that sense, we haven't abandoned the mission. We've accomplished that particular part of the mission. If you look at the Gulf Arab allies, and obviously the Israelis who faced a lot, the two of them together faced a brunt of these missile attacks, each of them feels substantially safer today from the Iranian missile threat.
Let's pause. He just lied to you and told you the truth, because in the beginning he told you they had no missile program at all. They didn't have no way. The whole plight was to stop them from being able to develop it again. He's now saying, well, no, it's not that they don't, have the ability. Get it? Boy, they be trying to sneak in the truth amongst them lies so it don't be all a lie.
Than they did before. Obviously, that is something that we would like to continue. All the president said yesterday is that you can't expect any country to give up its right of self-defense. You have to have parity, and that's what the president of the United States was talking about. Go ahead. No, guys. Yeah.
Leo's reaction to the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding.
I have it. What did he say?
All right, okay. Well, I'll give you the
The
short
MOU
version. Sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. He said.
Go ahead. After you.
I'll give the short version. All right. He says he welcomes the agreement between the U.S. and Iran. He says it hopes it will help strengthen mutual trust, security, and stability in the Middle East. And he also.
Niecy, not you just said Trump sleeping, JD creeping. He gonna find out about the press conference after he wake up. JD trying to slip in and take his job while he sleep. Lord have mercy.
Hopes that is truly a solution.
I
to the
told
war.
y'all this seems like one big version of Scandal. It literally does.
And that the war is really over. What do you say to the Pope, sir?
My response to that is praise Jesus. I'm glad that the Pope has positive things to say about our MOU. I think that the Pope is fundamentally accurate, and it's going to be good for the entire world, but we got to keep working at it to make sure that the Iranians honor the commitments that they've made. And then yes, you're in front. Go ahead. Guys, with the thing is, there's so many people in here. I could say the red tie, and then 90 of you start shouting at us. The burgundy tie.
The MOU calls for a U.S.
There we go, that guy.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. The MOU calls for a U.S. troop withdrawal from the Gulf region tied to the final deal. Can you say whether the drawdown will affect U.S. forces past Iraq and Syria, where American troops currently help protect Kurdish-held areas from Iranian-backed militias?
Okay, so the drawdown contemplated, again, this is the final deal. This is assuming that the Iranians comply, that they give us verification, that they take real substantial conduct towards this peace agreement. What we're saying is that we will withdraw troops to the pre-conflict level, meaning we're not going to keep a couple of extra aircraft carrier groups over there. The Iranians don't want that. Frankly, we don't want that either. Go ahead. Yeah.
Is not going to be funding that $300 billion fund. Who exactly is funding that? Is it private companies? And I also noticed that your voice is hoarse. Are you sick? Have you been using your voice a lot?
Well, I've been on a bit of a book tour the past couple of days, but I can't promote my book here in the White House press briefing room. I had a cold about a week ago. That and talking a lot about this deal and talking a lot about the book, I'm definitely a little bit hoarse. But you asked, your first question was about...
Who exactly is funding that $300 billion?
Oh, I see. So what's interesting about this is there is a great desire from the Arab world and from outside the Arab world to actually get involved in Iran if they behave properly. So, for example, let's say the United Arab Emirates, who've been a great ally over the last, not just few months, but over the last many years, let's say that they would like to invest in building a power plant. That actually is impossible right now because of the way that U.S. sanctions work. And so what we're saying is that if you behave, and if the Emiratis themselves want to build a power plant, then we will do the sanctions relief necessary to make that possible. The good thing about that is that it actually creates integration, which is leverage. A world where the Gulf Coast Coalition has greater leverage into the Iranian economy is a world where the Iranians are going to be heavily prevented from misbehaving. So it's a lot of the Gulf Coast Coalition, again, they see that Iran is weakened, they see there's an opportunity to build a new relationship there, and they're saying if they behave, and if the United States is willing to allow this to happen, then absolutely we want to change our relationship with Iran. No, well, I mean, I assume that in the United Arab Emirates there would be private money and so forth that would be part of this. But again, this is so far in advance because it assumes a transformation in Iranian behavior. Sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. As you know, the Iranian-backed groups in the region were involved in this war, and they damaged U.S. facilities and your allies as well. How does this agreement affect Iran-backed groups across the region, especially the Iranian-backed groups in Iraq? And my second question, this agreement requires Iran to stop attacking the Kurdish opposition in Kurdistan region, which they did 2 days ago.
So what this agreement does fundamentally is it requires Iran to behave like a normal country. And if it doesn't, as so many people think that it never will, then it doesn't get any of the economic benefits. And if they do, then that's a great thing for everybody. It's a great thing for the Kurds. It's a great thing for anybody who has been under the brunt or under the threat of Iranian-funded terrorist organizations. The expectation is that Iran will stop that, and if they don't get the benefits of the bargain. John.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Many of the colleagues that you served with in the U.S. Senate and Republican Conference have criticized this deal over the last 24 hours. What is your message, Mr. Vice President, back to them?
So I guess I would say to anybody, any of the critics, is number one, have a little bit of faith in the President of the United States. The idea that he is going to strike a deal that's been bad for the American people, it's preposterous. He is the person who has had the courage to fundamentally transform our relationship with Iran and with a lot of other countries over the last year and a half. He believes in this deal. He is going to see it to completion, and if the Iranians don't comply, we still have every single tool and point of leverage that we have today. That'd be message number one, is have a little faith in the president's ability, given that he's got us this far, to take us the final step. The second thing that I would say is so many of what I've read or heard that people believe about this deal is just fundamentally untrue. It is a memorandum of understanding. It is fundamentally a principle that, yes, the Straits of Hormuz are going to be open immediately, and they already are. Yes, they're going to give up their highly enriched material, but they've got to actually do it. It's about conduct. It's about rewarding good conduct and punishing bad conduct, which in some ways is what we've been doing for the last 3 months vis-a-vis that country anyway. So many of the criticisms, I saw Lindsey Graham came out with a positive statement after expressing some concerns. I think that when people get to understand not just the agreement, but our negotiating posture as a country, they will realize this is an excellent thing for the American people, but that's part of our job. We've got to tell the story about what this means for Americans, how it's going to make all of us safer and more prosperous. That's why I'm here talking to everybody, and we're going to keep on telling that story in the days and weeks to come. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Jordan Conradson with the Gateway Pundit. I want to talk back to the Lebanon component of the deal. There's a report in Axios that Netanyahu's fuming over this. Israel doesn't feel bound to the MOU as it relates to Lebanon. If, as you mentioned, your frustration with Israel striking in Beirut, hitting apartment buildings, if that continues, could it torpedo the deal? And what would the U.S.'s response be to a broader war in Lebanon involving Israel and Hezbollah?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into hypotheticals that could torpedo the deal, because I think the president's expectation is that all of our friends, the Israelis, the Arabs in the region, we're going to work together and actually see this deal to completion. Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the...
Barely. Kind of, in a roundabout way. If you look at it through a microscope that has been super enhanced and placed in water and then blown up and then lifted up to the sky when the sun is the highest in the sky, maybe then you would be able to see how this is an amazing deal. Maybe then you would be able to understand how it was absolutely fantastic that you created, broke, destroyed, tore up, pulverized all of this just so that you could come back and play the hero. And you want someone to pat you on the back for it. And people are patting you on the back because they don't realize that you're just killing the monster you created or trying to. The problem about when you create monsters is sometimes those monsters don't like being on a leash. They don't want to be controlled. They want to do their own thing. Again, I say, we're going to revisit and do a show on how this whole Iran, U.S., Israel conflict happened in the beginning. And again, I'm going to tell you, just like it's happening right now, this is just history repeating itself. Same thing happened. But let's continue so that we can get to our next video.
Only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel...
He shouldn't lie. That's why he choked first. He choked first because he knew that lie was coming up through his esophagus. That's why he choked and coughed. Now he been pristine with everything he been saying. I've been applauding how linguistic he's been. I've been applauding it. Then all of a sudden you get to this and you choked up. Lie. How you gonna lie that fast? Half the stuff here ain't made in America. You telling me everything you sending over there is? Please. Please. Is it being made with American parts though? In what factory? Is it being made here? Do we know this? Let's continue.
Is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
What have you learned about going to war against Iran?
Child, they good for just walking off. Next thing y'all already know I want to get into is this Karmelo. I think this little recap here is only about 30 minutes. But I do want to see what happened in day 2. Again, as I stated before, take your feelings out of this. We deal in facts when we do deep dives. We remain impartial and we look at the facts of the case, okay? And we look at inconsistencies because you can only fight this kind of fight with facts. You can't fight the judicial system with feelings. I don't feel like, they don't give a damn about feelings. There's not a law book in a law library unless you can find a statute that talks about them needing to care about your feelings. But when there are facts on the table, they can't argue facts. Let's check this out. Y'all glasses filled to the rim? I hope so. Let's go.
Day two off to a emotional start this morning. We had a first responder as the first witness on the stand, 3 witnesses so far, first responder and 2 officers. The first responder was a firefighter and paramedic that pretty much testified to the severity of the wounds once he arrived to Austin Metcalf's body and just talked about the intense life-saving efforts they went through trying to revive him, to which, of course, to no avail. But they talked about, attaching a machine to his chest to read a pulse, and he had no pulse. They said it was flatline. There was an acronym he used, the medical term, and the prosecutor asked for, simplicity for the lay people in the gallery, and he just said, yeah, he had no pulse. He was pretty much dead in a cardiac sense. They loaded him up into the back of the ambulance, to which, he eventually did not regain consciousness. But then we went on to see more from officers, and they were testifying about their response to the situation that day. One was a school resource officer. He was actually the one that made contact with Karmelo Anthony and the one who detained him. But he talked about the commotion when he ran out there to the scene, all the kids running to him saying, someone's been stabbed, and they pointed towards Karmelo's direction. And so you see on the body cam when he finally approaches Karmelo, and Karmelo seemed to cooperate. He was being very cooperative. He was being compliant. He didn't try to run away. But the key thing about this testimony here on the body cam, you hear Karmelo say to the officer, he put his hands on me, I told him not to. And when he says that phrase, he clearly he's crying hysterically. You can hear him sobbing in a very emotional state, but the prosecution's harping on that last half of that statement, the I told him not to part, because the prosecution says that's simply a lie. We know we've heard that phrasing, he told him not to put his hands on me, or put your hands on me and see what happens. That's the narrative that the prosecution's running with, and that eventually led Karmelo to stab Austin Metcalf. But there was another officer whose body cam was played during this officer's testimony where you heard the officer say, we have the alleged suspect, and then you clearly hear Karmelo say out loud, I'm not alleged, I did it. So kind of damaging to the defense's case here. But then we just heard from an officer who arrived who did not partake in any life-saving efforts for Austin Metcalf's body, more of scene patrol, scene security is what he was saying, and evidence control. He was the one
Media makes me mad too, because no, it's only damaging to the case if you keep pushing that it's damaging to the case. Because if I say I told him not to push me, that does not make it damaging to the case. I told him not to push me. That is a warning. That is a warning. I don't even understand. Here's the crazy part. I have an uncle who is a 6th-degree black belt in multiple different martial arts styles. So much so that his whole body, when he was younger, was registered as a deadly weapon. Which meant if he ever got into a situation and they felt afraid, they had the right to shoot to kill because he was the weapon. I don't... Yeah, I'm trying to piece together I am trying to understand as a world, as a society, as a people, why it's so easy for us to rage bait each other, because we know it's going to trigger a response. Also, why it's so easy for us to allow ourselves to be used to rage bait. Especially when you know you being used is going to trigger a response. There was a time, if you were media, you had to remain impartial. Certain words are extremely not impartial. That's very damaging to his case. Is it? Now you've just put it in the mindset that that's damaging and he did something wrong. When all he said was, I warned him not to touch me. You ain't heard nothing else. You ain't heard whether he kicked him after he did that, he drop kicked him, he choked him, he hit him in the throat, he hit him in the side. You don't know anything. All you know is this boy said, I warned him not to touch me. And from that, oh, that's very damaging. Come on, y'all. Bro, we get on my nerves. I promise.
Curing off the scene there, and he actually showed, or we saw pictures of the knife. It was a 5-inch blade. The first time the jury actually saw that knife in person, they did a demonstrative effort in front of this jury where they showed that the blade could be swung out really quick with just the stroke of a thumb. You could open it really quickly with one hand. But the impactful part of that testimony is that we saw the body cam from this officer where you actually see Austin Metcalf's pretty much lifeless body, everyone trying to give him chest compressions, but you see the body on screen, and that obviously brought out a visceral, emotional reaction from the Metcalf family. Plenty of tears and sobbing and consoling. And I looked towards Karmelo Anthony's side, and it was pretty stoic. There was a pretty, a lack of emotion there, not necessarily in a negative sense, but just really take evidence here.
Hey, question, right? I am not being funny, and I need someone who has medical background to help me out here. But if you have a hole in your chest, according to them, in the heart, are you supposed to do chest compressions? I am so seriously asking because I don't know. Because if not, could that have potentially contributed to his demise as well? If I had a hole in my chest and someone is pumping on it, doesn't that make it pump more? Or is that incorrect? Someone let me know.
The fact to this case as the prosecution presents it thus far. That's the latest right now. I'll send it back to you.
Car, thanks to Cody Thomas for that report there in McKinney, Texas. Let's bring in our guests who are standing by to talk about this evidence, this new evidence that the jury has seen inside of that courtroom. We have with us trial attorneys Lateef Gray and Al Wunsch III. Thank you both for being here to talk about this case that has so many people talking online. They are paying attention to the details, even though we don't have cameras inside, but the details that are coming out, everyone has an opinion on them, and I'm glad I can get your legal expertise on these. Al, let me start with you. The jury seeing the knife for the first time today. How important is the weapon, the size of the weapon? Does it matter, especially when this is a knife that obviously was able to kill someone?
No, I mean, it's always a key part of any prosecution case to have the weapon. So when you have the weapon there and you can show that, and it dispels any, false rumors that it was a stake or something that was used for the sporting event that was going on. This is a knife. This is a knife that is a dangerous knife.
Now, the newsman said they were doing chest compressions, right? After it happened. So if you have a hole in your chest deep enough to penetrate your heart, that means not only is your chest bleeding from the wound, but your heart has been punctured. So it bleeds as well, correct? Listen, I'm not in the medical field, so I'm asking questions. I'm trying to use some deductive reasoning. If you're pressing on an open wound, something is going to come out. Why are we pressing and doing chest compressions on an open wound? And nobody questioned this? Defense attorney? Okay, let's go.
And this is a knife that should not have been at a sporting event for a high school team. Perfect. Right
Latif
there.
Gray, weigh in as well about that knife. What did you think about hearing that it's a 5-inch blade, that it was folded out at the point that the officers were able to preserve it? Talk about that part of it and whether or not that makes a difference when it comes to this case being self-defense or murder.
Well, I think it does make a difference in the fact that you have a 5-inch switchblade. This is not what we would consider a utility knife, which a lot of people keep with them, that has a little blade, a bottle opener, things like that. So the big question is, what was this young man doing at this track event with this type of knife that it seems like he brought it maybe for a particular purpose? So that's a big question as to what he was doing with this type of knife, which is not what we usually see people walk around with on a daily basis.
Yeah, we keep hearing that question. Why did he have the knife? Now, there was something that came out today.
Let me explain something to y'all. Do I have any pictures? You know what? I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna show you something. I'm going to defute this for you in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna let this play.
On cross-examination, one of the witnesses did confirm that having the knife is not a crime, but they don't mean at the school, obviously, because there is a specific rule for that school ground. Can you help people understand the difference and whether or not those school regulations matter in a court of law, in a murder trial?
Well, I mean, it is something that no weapons are supposed to be brought into the schools. Schools have a zero tolerance of any type of, they have a zero tolerance for having a pretend gun. You can't even bring a water pistol in some instances if it looks like a real weapon. So that is a zero tolerance policy. Okay, having the possession of the knife is not a criminal offense in and of itself. That's correct, okay? But it's a school event. He's a student. He's there. He's got a knife. 5-inch switchblade, which, I mean, you know, we all agree is not the type of thing you would need under any circumstances at a sporting event. And he used the knife. So, you know, whether or not it's legal to have it, it doesn't matter. Okay, it shouldn't have been there, and it shouldn't have been used, and it shouldn't have taken the life of that, you know, poor 17-year-old kid.
Oh, yeah. This question of whether or not you're allowed to have it and whether or not that matters in a criminal trial reminds me of a case that I was inside of the courtroom for in Florida against Curtis Reeves, who was a retired police officer at a movie theater. There were signs on the movie theater doors that said, this is a no weapon zone. He had his weapon. He fired it in self-defense. A jury did acquit him of murder and killed another man who only had popcorn in his hand. But it did come up inside of the courtroom as to whether or not he saw the signs, whether he knew he should have it, or as a retired officer, is he allowed to carry the gun all the time? Latif, is that, in your opinion, going to be weighing on the minds of the jury about where should this knife have been? Where was it permitted to have been? Or again, does it matter at all because this knife was used in a way that killed someone?
Well, I will say
I'm
this.
sure that's something that,
All right, let me let Latif weigh in, Al, and then I'll let you react to it.
I'm sure that's something that the jury will consider, but I think we all know law trumps policy. So if it's not against the law, like I said, it's something that the jury will consider, but I don't think that will carry the day for either side at the end of the day.
Al, what do you think? Law trumps policy?
Yeah, law does trump policy, except that, you know, and let's keep this in mind. This is in Florida. Okay, that was the most ridiculous verdict I've ever heard in my life that happened with regards to a guy who throws a couple of, you know, assault and buttery, I called it, and he ends up losing his life in a movie theater. All right, this is Texas. I am confident that they're going to be a lot smarter jury, and they're going to be looking at it facts-wise as to what was going on, as opposed to some ridiculous verdict out of Florida.
Let's look at what the school resource officer on the stand today. This was, of course, a big moment. This is someone who would have arrived right after. And here are some of Cody Thomas's notes from inside watching that testimony. This witness, Eduardo Cortez, he was a school resource officer. He described the arrest of Karmelo Anthony. He said an adult pointed out the suspect and said, that's the guy. I called him towards me. I patted him down. I had him raise his arms and ordered him to walk with me along that fence line. He obeyed me. He didn't try to run away. I turned on my by body-worn camera, had him place his hands behind his back and had him detained. The thing that most shocked me was that a student brought a knife to a track meet, and this witness agrees that that alone was unprecedented. Then on cross-examination, this witness agrees that Karmelo Anthony was emotional, said the knife is under 5 inches, actually not prohibited, it's not illegal, not a crime. So that's what I was mentioning there. This witness speaking about it that way. But that body camera footage, Lateef, it was played inside of the courtroom today. That is always really important for jurors to see as much as they can. And here, they get to see the body camera not of days later when police catch someone, but right after it happens, this school resource officer is on the scene.
Right, and the body-worn camera presumably captures some spontaneous statements, excited utterances made by Mr. Anthony in the moment of the event while it's still on his mind and heavy on his heart. So oftentimes these body-worn cameras, which capture the aftermath of the incident, are best evidence because they capture things that are said and things that are done before anybody has time to consult with an attorney and develop a defense to what the particular charges are.
Al, what do you think about the weight of that body camera? Because I do want to add some of the notes that we're getting from the courtroom that you can hear on it, a handful of crying students. One child yells out, "That's my best friend, that's my brother," while crying and trying to come at Karmelo Anthony is our understanding of that moment. I mean, there's so much sobbing when it comes to these children and the trauma that they're going through. And you're also hearing that sobbing in the courtroom. And this is something that is very compelling evidence, I would think, for these jurors.
Absolutely, but you know what I didn't hear? They were trying to kill me. I was feared for my life. I had nothing I could do. I had to do this to be able to get out of there because they were going to take my life. They were going to kill me. They were going to beat me to a pulp. I didn't hear any of that. So the self-defense argument starts to kind of fade a little because that's at the moment when he's confronted by this officer and has the chance to say, listen, I did this because I had to. If I didn't, I would not have been able to get out of that tent. They were trying to beat me up. They were trying to do something to me. They were trying to kill me. You don't hear that. So I think that's going to be very important with regards to the prosecution's case. And of course, you hear those other cries going in the background. I mean, that's just an emotional aspect of it. That just shows you just how horrific this crime is.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. And I mean, I feel terrible for both individuals, honestly. I hate to see that this Mr. Anthony has ruined his life with this ridiculousness of bringing on a knife to a track meet and going into the opposite field, the opposing team's, domain. And why?
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, Al. We have a lot we're going to get to this hour, and that's part of it. How did tent culture impact who was the aggressor in this fight? We're going to be talking about that later this hour. But coming up, we're talking about the words of...
Now, let me tell y'all something. This is the thing that stresses me out about this whole thing. And I told y'all, in a situation, two things can be absolutely right at the same time. It can be absolutely right that Karmelo had the right to defend himself. But it can also be absolutely right that he should have done it with his fist and not a blade. Both of those opinions can be correct at the same time. Where we make this wrong is where we make one wrong over the other, because you don't understand the mindset of an individual at a moment. And this is why we need to teach our children and learn ourselves to leave people alone, because you don't know what people are dealing with in that moment. You don't know where they are. Didn't I just tell you in the beginning, there was a group of individuals under a post posting pictures of self-deletion notes from their loved ones who couldn't take it no more, and they trying to figure out how to go. People are on the edge. Everybody ain't taking you being a bully no more. Guess what? And just because I say that don't mean I believe that Karmelo should have used a knife. See, I just come from a different time. I'm sorry. I came from a time where if you wanted to quote unquote be in a gang, you had to be quote unquote blessed in. you had to be, quote unquote, jumped in. Wasn't no weapons. It was all hands. We came from really a time like what Friday was talking about, where they fought it out. Guess what? If Karmelo would have fought his way out of this, Karmelo would be sitting at home and Austin and all them boys would be sitting in jail. And at the same time, I don't know what that baby mindset was in that moment. I wasn't under the tent. And I ain't seen the videos that everybody else seen to know what he felt in that moment. This is why we have to have a conversation with our children. You always have freedom of choice. You don't always have freedom of consequence. Still, at the end of the day, I yell justice for this baby because he did not deserve 35 years. This was two boys who got caught up in their egos in the moment. Neither one was backing down. This is the danger of carrying a weapon. It really is. It's the danger of carrying a weapon, because when you get angry, naturally your natural defense is to reach for something to get the situation off you or to provide distance. Even if you don't necessarily mean to harm someone, naturally a weapon on you helps put you in a place where I can put some distance between me and this person. Back up. This is sad. It is. And the conversation that we really should be having is, why do we have a generation of kids who feel like this is the answer? Bullying, violence, weapons, across the board. This ain't an isolated incident. If you think that Karmelo and Austin is it, baby, bye. Please. You ain't on social media, clearly. You think this is it? You got a whole bunch of these situations brewing. And it ain't got nothing to do with black versus white. That's the sick and crazy thing about it. Ain't got nothing to do with that. We making it about that. Something much deeper here. These kids are living out a live action version of Lord of the Flies. Can't even make it up. Because half of them are raising themselves. The other half are being raised by fathers who tell them to dominate, bully, run over, and bulldoze your way through. Like Mr. Europe, Mr. Metcalf, who claims he is from America, but clearly he's mistaken. Clearly. We discussed that as well, It's all right. We got to do better.
Karmelo Anthony and what they mean. There was that one coach who kept him from leaving that track meet. What did he observe the 17-year-old do and say immediately after the stabbing? We'll have that next. Welcome back to Court TV Live. This hour we are following a trial involving teens, a track meet, and tragedy. Texas versus Karmelo Anthony is unfolding now. No cameras allowed inside of that courtroom, but we can let you know that that lunch break that they were on is over. Testimony has resumed. The Frisco Police Department deputy who was on the stand, Jacob Shawls, he wrapped up his testimony saying he was aware of the school's no weapons policy, and also that sometimes she, as an officer, carries a similar knife as a tool. this was during the cross-examination of that officer. So we'll keep monitoring what's happening there inside of the courtroom because our Cody Thomas is there. He's taking notes. We are monitoring those notes, and we'll bring you the details as they unfold. We're also talking about this hour the actions of Karmelo Anthony that happened after the stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. It's all going to be considered as a part of the body of evidence in this murder trial. You have the prosecution that's highlighting that Karmelo Anthony fled the scene of a stabbing while the defense suggests that he went directly to the people in charge. There was an athletic trainer, Tiffany Whitaker, who was on the stand, and she said that she instructed another coach, Vincent Hooper, not to let Karmelo leave the area. So what do these actions say about murder or self-defense? Let's bring back in our guests who've been talking with us all hour on this one. We have criminal defense attorneys Lateef Gray and Al Wunsch. Great to have you both on. Al, let me start with you. We talked about it a little bit before, but the words that he said afterward, if there was any remorse, and we'll get to some of the details of what that officer, or not the officer, but the coach rather, who actually put his arm around him and walked away with Karmelo Anthony, those words are going to be important, but just first, the actions. He walked to some point, and then you have a coach that says, don't let him leave. We don't know if that means he was trying to leave or if he was waiting for those coaches. The defense is characterizing it one way versus the other. But that action itself, how important is that to the jury's determination?
Well, it looks like he's trying to leave. I mean, obviously there is look, there was no way he was getting away at this point anyway. They had enough people that were able to identify him, and it was obviously a confusing situation. But, you know, his actions are always going to be looked at, and going with where it happened at that moment, anything he does is going to be magnified, you know, a dozen times for the jury to examine, and for the state and for the defense to try to, you know, hammer home a point with. In this type of an instance, though, there's no one, you know, he's not crying out, listen, I had no other choice. It's the only thing I could do. It was my life or his. You know, you don't hear any of that, which is, you know, kind of tough now that you're yelling that it's a self-defense situation. Why wouldn't that have been brought up? That would have been the first thing I would have said. Listen, I didn't want to do this. I had to. There was no way I wouldn't have gotten out of there otherwise. So I think that's going to be a big blow to the defense, argument that this is a self-defense case. I don't think it's a self-defense case. I have never from the beginning thought it was a self-defense case. They're making a lot of ground up to try to prove that point, to show that point, and you've got all those people protesting and everything else. But, you know, the facts just don't fit.
Let's look at the words of the witness who was on this.
Here's the problem with them saying that it's not a self-defense case. And here's another reason why, in my opinion, I feel like he received 35 years, right? Because if you say you don't feel like it's a self-defense case, literally, okay, and you're also saying that Karmelo did not know Austin. What you're saying is the reason why he brought the knife was for nefarious intentions. So basically, if it would not have been Austin, it would have been someone else, because he came intent on hurting someone. It's either one or the other. You're either saying this is self-defense, which means they got into a scuffle, he pulled out the weapon, or you're saying that the whole reason he brought the knife there was because he intended to hurt someone. Because according to them, from what I heard, Austin and him did not know each other, right? Or have I missed something? Drop in the comments and let me know.
Stands. So this is a prosecution witness. This is Vincent Hooper. He's a head football coach at Heritage High. So that's not a school that's associated with Karmelo Anthony or the stabbing victim, Austin Metcalf. But this is a track meet. There are lots of schools and coaches there. And he said on the stand, I put my arm around him and asked, what did you do? And then Karmelo Anthony responded, he, meaning Austin Metcalf, put his hands on me. And the witness said, you know, if he dies, you just changed the rest of your life. Karmelo's response was, he's not going to die. Then I said, but if he does? And Karmelo then starts crying like it's just now registering. On cross-examination of this same witness.
Okay. What we gonna do, we gonna pause it right there. We gonna pick it back up tomorrow. Do me a favor. hit that like and wait, where's my button? Hold on. There it is. Hit that subscribe button, also the notification bell, so you'll be notified when we jump into whichever sector we jump into for another show. Please do me a favor, consider supporting the channel. Hit that Cash App. It is on the screen. It is the same name as the channel, minus the TV. So please consider supporting the channel. You can also grab one of those memberships. You can also go check out our champagne store over at the Champagne Factory. It has been scrolling through the chat all night. Please go check it out. Again, thank you for joining me on tonight. Please remember, Champagne Gang, Fizz Fam, confidants, and visitors. If it doesn't cause you to elevate, baby, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink till we meet again. Ta-ta.
But the vibe ain't sweet, so I'm tangled up where I used to keep my seat. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no Ollie, ain't no Dolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead. Tree lights flicker, but my mind's on rewind. Every I love you now feels weaponized. Eggnog spike, but it ain't numb in the sting. Her best friend took my crown, now I'm the fool king. Sleigh bells ringing, but they sound frosty outside, inside it's a star. No chestnuts roasting, just my patience shot. Love ain't a present, it's a house of cards. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no Holly, ain't no Jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead.